We got the Dial H for Heroclix Orchestra back
live.
Second week in a row.
This will be another 15-minute.
You don't know how much money this is costing us. I hope you appreciate this.
Hunter put a second mortgage on his house.
Hello and welcome to episode 27, Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your host Hunter Smith. With me today is Austin Smith and Drew Alderson.
The better one.
Today we will be discussing our main topic today. We're going to talk about. We have kind of a fun day today. We're just going to talk about characters that we want to see clixed that have never been made before. And we're not talking about remakes. We're talking about characters that have never ever had their own clix made. And this is somewhat inspired by the fan vote, which we'll talk about later. We're also going to cover some comic book themed video games that we've played recently and go over best build finalists. We just got back from the dugout where we played the best build teams, and so we have the announcement of the winner for that.
I hate Alpha Flight.
We're going to first move into some news. We had a decent little bit of news. There weren't a whole lot of figures spoiled, but the ones that were spoiled were pretty dang badass. Starting with the main man and the reason that we had the orchestra come in today to play that song for us is the new Sentinels. If you guys haven't seen these Sentinels yet, they're for the Days of Future Past set, and the Sentinel pack is going to be its own separate thing, separate from the CTD. I assume it'll be kind of like the Blitzkrieg pack, where it'll be like a $30-ish pack. It will have 2 of these Colossal Sentinels. It has special object tokens. It has some bystanders. And it has parts for the Sentinels that you can swap in and out. If you guys want to follow along with us and see the pictures that we're looking at and see the dials and everything, go to Heroclix.com and you'll see there on the front page, there will be the X-Men Days of Future Past Alpha Class Sentinels. Now, they kind of displayed these on the site a little confusingly at first. I think they may have switched them. Okay. The way these work are, like I said, in the pack, there's an attack Sentinel and there's a defense Sentinel. And what you do, there are switch clicks, and what you do is, if you're playing the attack version, you will go ahead and pop off the defense, pop off the model off of your defensive one, and use its dial, and you turn it to a special set of clicks that give your other Sentinel special power. So it's kind of like a resource dial.
Yeah, or I was describing it as like an asset dial.
Yeah,
it sits
exactly.
off at the side and you scroll through.
Exactly, it's an asset dial. So you'll have your attack Sentinel on the board on top of his base, and then you'll have the base of the defensive Sentinel, but you won't have it on the defense Sentinel's clicks. You'll have it on the asset dial's clicks. Dial. And if you're looking at these on Heroclix.com, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about and follow along with us. So the way it works is whenever you have 2 action tokens on one of them, you can give them a free action to switch them from attack mode to defense mode. And, of course, they play very differently depending on which one you're in. For one, you can look at the combat symbols and see that when you're in attack mode, you have move and attack and flight, sharpshooter, triple bolt, 9 range. It's ridiculous. And then on defense, you lose all of that. You lose flight, you lose sharpshooter, and you only have 4 range with 1 bolt. And not only that, when you attack, you have to take an unavoidable damage afterwards. But you're a lot harder to hit, and you have a lot of dampeners, and you even have a chance further down the dial to pop out more Sentinels. So it's kind of cool. If you guys just want to follow along, they get Pulse Wave, Energy Explosion, Psychic Blast, Precision Strike, everything you want. And they're going to be... They have special powers that may come up on the asset dial. And the only confusing part is if you're looking at your asset dial for the attack version, if there's a power showing that doesn't have a black line around it, that means that you get to use that.
You can use it whether it has a black line or not. But if it has a black line, you also get a bonus.
No, it said instead.
Oh, instead. Okay,
yes.
Never mind.
So if you have, take for example on the attack version on its click number 1 of its asset dial, it has a gray running shot box, but it does not have a black line around it. That means the Sentinel gets to use running shot, and it also has a brown damage box, so that means it gets to use perplex. Or no, sorry, it has running shot. Now if you look at the white attack box and the brown damage box, that means if the person that you're targeting has perplex, has a brown damage box, then you'll get +1 attack when you target it. Or if that character has a special attack power, if it has a white box.
No, it just means he can use his special attack power. Because that's how he gets to use his special attack damage.
Okay, well, yeah, then that's how I was saying. Then they made it too confusingly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because here, let's read it. Alpha Class Sentinel attack mode can use the powers indicated and when a standard power on that die. Okay, when a standard
power.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's where they clarify. Okay, so I apologize. So like I was saying, if you targeted a person who has Perplex and you're on that first click, you would get +1 attack. But you would also be able to use Running Shot because it's a standard power with no outline, and you'd be able to use your special attack power, which gives him, when he has 2 action tokens, he gets Incap for free. Also, if you're in the attack mode, you get multi-attack, which is ridiculous. That is on their damage ability if you happen to be on that.
And see, and these powers are also on top of whatever's showing on the normal dial that they have.
Right.
So these are ridiculous. So like he has plasticity for his first 5 clicks on his very top dial.
Plasticity, pulse wave, 6 damage.
Yeah. So depending on what you roll here, you could end up with some stupid stuff.
Exploit weakness. So there's a 350, 250, and 150 option for each of these, and that's what I like the best because they work very well with Master Mold.
And also the way you end up rolling the asset dial is at the beginning of your turn, you roll a d6 and go to that click of it. So every turn it's going to change what you're on it.
Yes. And also when you switch over from attack to defense, you roll again. So it's constantly going to be switching what you're programmed into, what your asset dial is showing is going to switch at the beginning of each turn, or when you take the free action morph, basically.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, the attack one has, like, 14 attack on its very top click for, like, 350 or whatever, or 14 or 15, it's, like, way up there. But its defense is only a 16. And the defense mode has, like, 20 for its defense.
And basically non-existent.
8 or 9 attack.
It always has just, like, poison or incap or smoke cloud, like, stuff like that.
I do like the fact, is that 20 defend or just 20?
I think it's just a naked 20.
Okay.
With
Perplex. It looks kind of yellow from here.
With Perplex, though, so
yeah.
go to 21.
And he can pick up, like, other crap like Invul and stuff off of the...
So it's really cool because, like I said, the different starting lines is what really is awesome because Master Mold, when you're going through, spinning through the creation dial, there's a lot of points there where you're between making Chaos War Sentinels and the GSX Colossals, and you're like, I'm on 150 right now, but I got to get up to 200 to get my big guys out. And it's like, these guys would fill that gap. Yeah. And then when you go past, then it also would be options. If you're on 250, you can look at your attack mode Sentinel 250, see what he would come in with, or you can look at your GSX Colossal 250 and be like, in this situation against this team, which one would I prefer? So it just gives you more options.
Personally, what I like about him is they're what I've talked about before with my favorite kind of Colossal is the boss fight style Colossal, where they have these different powers that you're constantly swapping through, and it's like, okay, I got it in defense mode, I'm going to have to outwit its regen and stuff like this and take it down. But at the same time, you could play it on the lower end, like 150 dial, and it's still a solid piece at 150. Like, it's actually a scary piece at 150.
This guy outwits regen.
So if you're following along, you heard me say there's going to be action tokens. They are different parts of the object tokens.
Are those ultra heavies?
Yeah, so there's 2 ultra heavies, there's 4 heavy and 4 light, and they're all different appendages of a sentinel. And then there's 4 bystanders that represent characters that are in the Days of Future Past. And then at the bottom you see that there's extra pieces for your sentinels that you can swap on and off. So like there's battle damaged armor, there's the Cyclops style I-beam coming out. You could put that on your like attack version. And it'd be easier to tell whether your sentinel that your opponent's facing, for them to tell if it's in attack mode or defense mode or whatever.
Actually, can we take a look at those 4 tokens real quick? Because one of them actually, if I recall, the Mutant Protester is actually pretty sweet.
Okay, Human Protester, 10 points. Has reflexes and CCE, maximum stack of 8, so up to 80 points. When, let's see, characters within half of the stack, possessing Brotherhood or mutants, keyword or team ability can't ignore pushing damage.
So that's for 80 points, characters within 4 squares that have Brotherhood or mutants.
So if you're playing an event that requires having a Brotherhood or an X-Men team, then they could help you out.
Now I like these guys.
Mutant Protesters have Force Blast and Empower, 15 points. 15-point Empower is not bad. and defensive power, where friendly characters with Brotherhood or X-Men TA or keyword can use Mastermind, but only to deal damage to this character. Now that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, for a 15-point character that respawns in 500-point plus games or whatever.
I have to break those guys out at some point.
And then there's 2 Sentinel Pogs.
Well, there's a 20-point Sentinel Hunter. He has Sidestep, Incap, no range though, so just melee. Sidestep, Incap, Toughness, and damage ability when he's stacked, which is 4, so it'd have to be 80. He can use Plasticity, when he's stacked at all, so when he has 2, he can use Plasticity. When he's maxed, which would be 80 points, he can use Capture.
Ooh.
Here's my question. They're technically Sentinels. Could you spawn them with Master Mold? They're called Sentinels.
It says Sentinels, parentheses, Hunter. You might be able to, I'm not sure. Sentinel Sentry. Has it's 14 points, a little cheaper. It has Indom and Giant Size, so it can carry.
And Smoke Cloud.
For 14 points, you have Smoke Cloud and carry right there. That's all you really need to know. And then it has a defense power when it's stacked. It can use Barrier as a free action.
What?
But only to place half of S blocking terrain markers. So let's say you're playing it the cheapest way, which is probably what I'd play it. You have to play at least 2 to stack them, so it'd be 28. So for 28 points, you just got a carrier, Smoke Cloud, and a free 1 square barrier at 5 range.
It's only a 3 square carry, though.
Still.
Yeah, I know. It's
carry,
good.
Smoke Cloud, and free 1 action one barrier that you can change each turn for free. That's sick.
Sweet.
These are good horde tokens.
Indom, yeah, I like those tokens a lot.
So, definitely looking forward to that. I'm even debating whether I want to get 2 packs of those.
I'm thinking about buying one.
If you guys are going to get one, then I'll just get 1 pack. That way I know I could always...
I'm going to try and get one. We'll see.
I might get one and paint it.
War of the Light. There's a ton to talk about.
Elephant Man! Woo!
Poor little brother Worth.
You shut your mouth.
He's
alive in my heart. I always have hope.
You might as well admire him right now, Austin. You're not going to see him again for a long time. We got a lot of War of the Light news. First of all, there's going to be a Sinestro Core War scenario pack, which will be similar to the Blitzkrieg and the Mighty pack. In each of them, again, there's two figures, custom Green Lantern dice, and 2 special 3D objects, just like there was in the Blitzkrieg packs. There's a Green Lantern ring and a shield construct.
And then the 2 figures are Hal Jordan and Sinestro separate figures.
48 horde tokens and 2 maps. So I assume it's going to be similar pricing and everything to the Blitzkrieg. And I also assume there'll be another scenario pack that will probably happen towards the end.
You know what's going to be pretty cool?
Fierce
Judging from the sound of that, I bet we're going to get Sinestro Core members and Green Lanterns that are horde tokens. That'll be pretty sweet, actually.
Hopefully. They're shaking up the way that they're doing OP kits, and I can't tell if I like this or I don't like it because, we'll get into it. So currently OP kits are for 20 players.
Okay.
All right. What they're saying is, and when you did Fear Itself and you bought an OP kit, you got 20 boosters. So you got a case of Fear Itself boosters, and you got 20 player prize support. So the 4 figures, the 20 pieces for the hammers and all that shit. Okay, what they're going to do for War of the Light is the OP kit is going to support 10 players. So it's going to have 10 rings or whatever, we don't know, constructs or whatever. 10 of those, and then the 4 prizes, and that'll be it.
They're separate.
And they're selling the boosters separately.
Yeah.
And they also come in they come in bricks. They come in bricks, and they're doing 2 waves. They're doing a wave 1, which they're going to sell from month 1 to 2, and then a wave 2 that they're selling from 3 to 4, and then they're saying in month 5 and 6 you can do whatever you want, but they're saying to order ahead because they think the product is going to be limited. So basically,
Fear Itself was a mess, so I would order ahead anyway.
So what I'm going to try to do is just go ahead and order a crap ton of each one, and then we'll have leftover. There's also going to be 96 figures in this set.
I'm so happy about that.
Are you really happy about that?
I'm actually really happy
Austin,
about that.
you got to understand something.
You're trying to collect 96 figures in a set that you can only get, let's say, twice a month.
2 different booster types, so it's more like 2 different sets for 3 months.
Okay, let's say you get to do double boosters at both of your venues each month. That's a total of 20 figures.
Yeah.
For 6 months, that's 120 total, and there's 96 different figures in it. So even if you spent $40 a month, you're still not likely going to get each figure in that 96 figure booster.
I prefer that over Fear itself, where with 45 figures, outside of SRs and stuff, I have 50 of every figure out of Fear itself after 6 months.
Sincerely, Dad, you have 50.
I have a bag of it.
I like it and I don't like it. I don't like it because I'm a collector and I have to have one of each thing eventually, so I'm going to want one of each of these figures. And it's going to be really damn hard and really damn expensive to get a hold of.
As long as there's not the same number of commons as uncommons.
I do like the fact that it's more than Fear itself because there weren't enough. Correct. But I think they went a little too far over. I would have said maybe 60. Because Fear itself only had like 25 or 24 or something like that.
No, Fear itself was like 30 or 40.
Well, we'll pull it up. It was not 40. I'll give you fucking $20 if it was 40.
It was not 40.
Yeah. I bet you it's not over 30.
It's
I think it's like 25. 32, 33. So 33, and then the
6 LEs.
The LEs, but that's separate. So this will have LEs too. So counting LEs on this,
what Fear itself
yeah, that's 3 times. I think they went a little bit overboard, but you know,
it's gonna be good.
At least you got a lot of options.
It's gonna knock out all the great. They're pretty much trying to knock out all the lanterns at once, is what I see it as.
This is probably true. I mean, there's
so many lanterns,
and they're just gonna get it all.
So
in one go.
Here's the thing. I really like the OP kits being 10 per person. If, and this is a huge if, and it's an if that I'm not positive about, if the price drop is respective to that 20 dropping from 20 players to 10 players. Now, because a lot of venues, including us, used to. I mean, when we first started out, we only needed a 10 man.
Yeah, a lot of people in the forums are talking.
Now we need 20, but when we first started out, we would have only needed a 10 man kit, and that would have been cheaper. So if these OP kits are going to be about 60% of what they used to be, then that's perfect. And they did this perfectly. But knowing WizKids, I'm going to say it's maybe 25% cheaper than it was.
If that.
Maybe 15 to 20%. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say 25.
The other thing that people were bringing up that's kind of cool, though, is if you wanted extra prize support and maybe wanted to increase your entry fee a little bit, you could double up on, like, for top 6 would walk away with an LE.
I don't like that because I don't want to make my players pay for more than they're already having to pay for anyways. But that's
we wouldn't personally do it. I'm just saying some people were happy they could.
I'm going to keep the extra figures for other events. That way we won't run out so fast because we're already out now. I mean, I haven't given LEs away in 2 weeks, and I still don't have any for another till February. So
all I know is, as a Lantern fan, I'm so giddy over this event, and 90-something figures is just awesome.
It's good and bad. That's what I was saying. I mean, it's good. It's good that we have that many figures, but it's bad that we have that many figures, too.
I'm just wondering, I wish they would have explained the resource situation.
I'm just more worried about the price of the kits than I am anything else.
There's supposed to be, like, what are there, 8 different Lantern cores?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be 8 different colors of lanterns. How are they giving out 10 lanterns per kit?
I don't know. I assume we're going to find out in the next 3 or 4 weeks, hopefully. So, hopefully you caught all of that. So it's going to be a 5-figure boosters like Fear itself. There's going to be 2 separate waves. Wave 1 is from month 1 to 2. Wave 2 is from 3 to 4. And 5 to 6, you can do whatever you want. You can either do a mix of those if you have any left over. You can do other boosters if you want. You can do half and half, however you want. I would suggest ordering ahead of time. Like when you order your first waves, go ahead and get extras and hold them until month 5 and 6. That's what I plan on doing.
So they're still going to be supporting month 5 or 6? They just don't think they're going to have
They think they're going to be... they specifically say, I'll try to look for it here, but they basically say... Basically, it's underlined like, take care of it your fucking self because we don't expect...
How can they not...
Well, with Fear itself, it was the same way. By month 5 and 6, they were run out of supply left and right. I mean, like,
they're getting so much money from this. They need to start being...
Here it is right here. Stores can attempt to order additional Wave 1 and or Wave 2 tournament boosters, but inventory will likely be non-existent by the time 5 and 6 roll around, so plan ahead.
Honestly, I think we should pick up an extra 2 cases of month 1 and extra 2 cases of month 2 to pay for month 5 and 6.
That's what I'm planning on doing. Because at the least, you have extra left over after it's all said and done.
OP
Use
prizes,
them for prizes for the next
If
few
not,
months.
we're gonna have to like schnagle stuff off.
Because
eBay.
again, everybody's going to want these because there's 96 freaking figures to collect.
And
So
that's the other
people are
reason
going
I'm
to
happy
still
with
want
it. Is I'm not going to feel like I might be able to trade some of these, which is nice.
You could trade Fear Itself stuff.
So hopefully we'll get more info on War of the Light coming up. Let's move into Yu-Gi-Oh! We just got Kazajan.
You didn't mention the Hal Jordan Sinestro duo.
There's a Hal Jordan Sinestro Green Lantern duo, which looks pretty cool.
They're both Green Lanterns, and it looks awesome.
Kazajan is part of the fusion monster that we saw last week. Kazajan has a defensive trait once per game. You can choose him or an adjacent friendly when they're dealt damage from an attack. You can give Kazajan an action token, and then that character ignores all damage from the attack. So, and there's no stipulation on point value or anything, just the fact that they're adjacent. So that's pretty nice. It basically Blue Beetles you.
So it's 100 points to just ignore one attack.
It lets him Blue Beetle to anybody he wants to. He himself has 150 or 100 points. For that 50 points extra, you're getting 2 pretty solid clicks. Running Shot, Imperv, and his damage ability, which gives adjacent friendly super senses on a 6. So there's another power that he's given friendly characters, that he's given to his friendlies. He also has Flight, so he could carry him. So he's kind of a mix of a ranged attacker / support a little bit for your
I kind
team.
of like him better at 100 than 150. I feel like for 50 you don't get enough out of it. He has only 1 more damage for the top 2 clicks and 1 more attack at the very top click, but his stats are exactly the same.
Yeah,
It's
it's still
kinda-
more impervious though too.
Yeah, I like him as a 100-point support piece though. That I can ignore 1 huge attack once per game. Per Kazajan I'm running. He's not. Is he Silver Ring?
No,
Per Kazajan I'm running.
he's okay.
Yeah. He'd be fun to run in big, expensive, colossal games.
Universo, I'm really excited about. This dude is freaking good.
I didn't take much.
This guy.
Sealed? This guy's fucking...
You're gonna be good.
Okay, he's 71 points wild card. He has no end or flight. 7 range, 1 bolt. He has a special movement power, which is nuts. He can use mind control with triple bolt. When he does, increases attack value by the number of targets. And after action to resolve, heal him of 1 damage for each character with Legion of Superheroes keyword he hit with that
So
attack.
there's our silver bullet for sealed right there.
So he's already a 9. If he gets to target 3 people, he'd be a 12. Not to mention the fact he's a wild card, so he could copy Batman Enemy or Sinister Syndicate and get his attack even higher up to. He can Mr. Freeze this bitch and get to like a 15 when he does triple target.
Mr. Freeze
That's
this
exactly what I
bitch.
was thinking.
And then he can get. He also has a defense power of Energy Shield Super Senses, and he has Shape Change. So he's really stinking hard to hit, and then he's getting triple bolt mind control from you. And if you mind control over 150 points on that first time, you don't really care because the second click, his attack goes up 1. So who cares?
He picks up in cap Smoke Cloud. Smoke Cloud is a free action.
And Outwit.
So when he uses end cap, he can use Smoke Cloud as a free action. Yeah, he gets 2 clicks of Outwit. Gosh dang, this man for 71 points.
I'm telling you, this guy is good. I think a lot of... hopefully people didn't overlook him and just be like, oh, he's kind of cool.
Not to mention that sculpt is super fabulous.
This dude is good. He's very good. Especially in Sealed.
Yeah.
So yet another awesome Legion of Superheroes piece. Speaking of news, they said that they have already sold out of Legion of Superheroes, which is awful news. And I hope that they're working on getting another print run out very quickly because most stores haven't ordered theirs yet. And you're just losing money by not...
When is SLOSH
going ahead and
coming
getting
out?
it going.
There's
February.
Second week of February. I think.
Yeah, so less than about a month from now, right?
Yeah, but Wolverine the X-Men, they put out a notice that they sold out like 2 weeks before it came out, too.
Yeah. Etrigan the Demon won the Heroclix fan vote. Not a whole lot of people are excited. I'm not mad or anything.
You mad?
I'm not mad. I just thought it was really stupid he was on there in the first place.
Brave and the Bold is
'Cause
a really recent set.
A, he's a remake. B, he's a remake of a somewhat decent set. It's not like he's from freaking Infinity Gauntlet or Challenge or anything like that.
It's a DC figure.
You know what I'm saying.
I'm just
From Hyper Time.
There we go.
And C, this dude was going to get his own Clix made anyways. Let's be honest. He's a popular enough character. The other ones, I felt all the other choices on there were at least either never made or remakes of that have been forever old.
I was more shocked about the ones we lost after the first month, actually, because there were some in there that a lot of people were expressing they wanted that.
Yeah.
I think the cutoff line should be pre-carded pre-carded, pre-special abilities in terms of...
I mean, it may be asking too much, but I would like 2 fan votes each time. One for never made and one for remakes. What about that?
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. That either way, you're getting, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are getting a never Clixed, and then people are getting a remake.
I don't know enough about pre-New 52 Etrigan. Is pre-New 52 Etrigan like a much different character than current Etrigan?
Not really. I don't think so.
I don't know that I've seen him in anything. Was he in Trinity of Sin?
He was in Demon Knights for a bit.
He was in Demon Knights for like an issue.
I can't speak on that because I haven't really seen him.
And then he was in Stormwatch for a little bit, like a couple issues.
Yeah, those are both horrible books, so I didn't really...
Demon Knights wasn't terrible. Shut up.
I said okay.
Okay, I know, but you said terrible.
It was okay. Stormwatch is god awful.
Yeah, don't read Stormwatch.
Okay.
Don't read Stormwatch.
I really wanted that book to be good too because it had Martian Manhunter in it.
I know, that's exactly... The only times it was good was when he was in it.
He still couldn't save that book.
Still couldn't save that book, even though he's the strongest superhero in existence.
That news kind of inspired our main topic today, which is figures that we want that have never been made before. And we're going to each go over our top 5 for DC, top 5 for Marvel, and top 5 for indie/video games. So non-Marvel DC like Vertigo, Image, Icons, big names like that. Dark Horse, IDW, Ninja Turtles, which is a really good comic this year.
I don't know whose list that would be on.
And Vertigo. So any of those and or video game sets. And I want to what we'll do is we'll each go through and do our number one we would want the most, and talk about, explain the character very briefly, like in a sentence, and why we think it would make a good Clix.
I get the feeling me and you are going to have the same number one for Marvel. Huh?
I wrote some extra ones just in case you guys said the same ones I did. So let's let Austin go first for DC. Who's your number one DC?
I actually want I want Talon, like the Court of Owls Talon.
Son of a bitch. Okay, the main dude or a Talon? Like...
Just a Talon, period, like a generic one.
Oh, okay, that was mine. All right, so I'll cross him off. That's all right. I got extras.
Just because they're really sweet. I really like the Court of Owls, and actually I have a Court of Owls member, period, on mine too. It would be nice to have a little combo of like Minion, Court of Owls member, with some misdirection stuff, some anti-Batman tech. That'd be kind of cool. I think they could build some cool figures out of them.
Drew, your number one DC.
My number one DC. Now, all of them I put down are really close together in terms of, I don't know, me wanting them to be. So I'll choose Papa Midnight. A lot of people probably don't know who Papa Midnight is.
I have no freaking clue.
He's from a lot of John Constantine books.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Is that the blind old black man?
No. He's the black voodoo guy.
He's the like local gang leader.
Yeah, he's John. He's a constant friend and enemy of John Constantine.
Wasn't he in New 52?
Yeah,
he is in New 52.
Okay, yeah.
He's the one who like beats up the bar or whatever, looking for John Constantine.
All right, cool.
Papa Midnight's.
So what would he have, like mind control or what? Prop control?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Something like that. Maybe.
He's in general.
I'm gonna go with Jeanette for my number one, who got top 3 in the fan vote, and mainly because of what I've said, she's like the only one missing from Secret Six to finish out that team. She is a really cool character already. If you guys have ever played Silver Banshee, Jeanette is similar to her as far as fighting style and powers. She would have some kind of crazy pulse wave like Canary Cry type thing. Yeah, she'd have Mystic's team ability, I think. Probably some NCAP or pulse wave plus NCAP, stuff like that. She's a really badass character, and I think she will eventually get Clix. I hope she'll eventually get Clix.
I, for one, am fine with any more Canary Cries. Also, she didn't make top 3, Hunter.
She didn't?
It was
Catman made top 3. Catman.
Hey,
she made the first cut.
Yeah, she made the first cut.
Okay. What's your number 2, Austin?
My number 2 was Court of Owls member, but I really want Nobody from Batman and Robin, the member of the League of Assassins that was under Ducard.
That's a good choice. That's the guy that
he was kind of
he's
like
on the ship in the big fight at the end. Yeah, that was a good storyline.
He's a high tech villain that's very. I'm trying to think of what he's very like deceptive. Like he tries to win over Robin and tries to like get him to turn against Batman. And like of course I love my League of Assassins characters, and he's like that cool techie kind of character. And I don't know, he'd just be like a pretty straightforward like gadgety kind of character.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. That Batman and Robin arc was really good.
Oh, I love that.
Drew,
one.
who'd you do number 2?
Nelson Gent from Dial H for
Oh yeah, Nelson.
I never did read Dial H.
You didn't?
Even though our podcast is named after it.
It's insanely good.
It's good. It's just so weird.
It was insanely. And I specifically put next to it with Pelican Army. Because I'm pretty 100% positive that Pelican Army.
Would you like him to have like the Cape Crusader style attached pelicans to the base?
Yes.
My second one is Flamebird. The Bet is from Batman books. She was Batgirl for a short spell. She's Flamebird in old Batman books, and now she works with her cousin Batwoman, Kate. And she's a really cool character. Kate just got Clix in Batman. That was one of my most wanted Clix, and she got made. The figure's not all that great, but she's at least decent. I got to play her a couple times. I love Batwoman. That's one of my favorite books. J.H. Williams is my favorite artist, and Batwoman Elegy is one of my favorite like stories of all time. And and art, like all around, like story plus art. Batwoman Elegy is one of my favorite. And Flamebird is becoming a bigger, more important character right now, and I think that'd be a cool Clix. She would be one of those that could have like the Batman family keyword, but play differently than the rest of them.
Yeah.
Not just be stealth reflexes and stuff. Like she could have a little bit of running shot and some sidestep and a little bit of range or some kind of special poison representing flame powers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's been like my big issue with like a lot of the Batman family. It's why I don't enjoy playing Batman family teams that much. It's because they're always like stealth reflexes, close combat expert, in cap or whatever.
Also, number 3, DC.
I want Heretic. I'm on a Batman kick here. Heretic was the older Damian Wayne.
Because we all need more Batman figures.
But I mean, like they missed a lot of the new 52. Like
spoiler alert: it's who kills Damian.
Yeah.
Sadly,
Heretic was pretty cool.
Rip in peace, Damian.
He's like a big like man child, pretty much, but like he's really powerful physically, and he's like a big like beater character for League of Assassins, and he's pretty sweet.
Punky Drewster, number 3.
Number 3. Who do I have at number 3? Hold on. Mr. E, who is a constant John Constantine villain.
A Constantine villain?
A Constantine villain.
What's he like?
He's blind. He's got a bunch of...
There's a lot of blind people in John Constantine's universe.
There's a lot of blind people.
It's like that in any like magic.
I was gonna say Sargon, but there's already a Sargon.
Yeah. He's not bad
but
either.
Is there a new like daughter of Sargon?
No. But no one wants a daughter of Sargon.
That's true. I'm just saying you could get through a loophole that way.
He's also like, if you read Constantine's book, he's like, they introduced 2 big bads, and it's Mr. E and it's Sargon. And
I'm going with Zilius Zox from Red Lanterns. He's a badass, and he's hilarious, and he's one of the best parts of why that book is so good and been
Which
so
one
fun.
is Zox?
He's the giant.
He's the giant ball.
Yeah, with teeth, and he's the mechanic, and he's always working on the ship.
I like the jellyfish personally.
Oh, did you read the most recent one?
No.
Oh goodness, God, I can't spoil it.
See, I tried to avoid
got
putting
to read
lanterns
it.
on my list because I'm expecting.
Have to read it.
I will.
If he's your favorite character, you have to read it.
The big jellyfish Red Lantern.
What's his name? It's not Ratchet. It's
Yeah, it is Ratchet. I thought.
Is it Ratchet? Yeah, I think it is Ratchet.
I tried to avoid putting lanterns on my list just because I know we're going to get a ton of them.
Right. That I was too. I really like Zilius Zox.
Well, you're
He's
going to
freaking
get
hilarious.
one probably.
Hopefully, yeah. There's a lot of Red Lanterns they can do, actually. One of the
they've
ones,
showed a lot of them so far.
That's one of the ones I expect them to do.
Gosh, it's going to be so many. Like, are they going to have chases, or what are they going to do?
Austin, who's your next one? Number 5.
Although I don't like the story arc, I'm going with the issue 20 plus Batwing, like the super high-tech suit.
Oh, okay. So if people haven't followed along with Batwing, first of all, Batwing started off really good.
Yeah.
The first 2 or 3 arcs of Batwing in New 52 is good, but it was what's the dude's name? David something. We've talked about it on the podcast before. It feels a lot like Unknown Soldier from Vertigo.
It's about like child soldiers
in
like,
Africa and corrupt police and everything. But now the last couple arcs, it has switched to Lucius Fox's son.
He is like running this like high tech suit and battling like high tech criminals around the world and stuff like that. And it's just not. I don't know. It doesn't have the feel, and I think that's what I really liked about Batwing was it was so different because it was like what happens when you take someone with some of Batman's ingenuity and technology and dump them in such a different location.
And now it just feels like Batman 2.0.
Yeah. Well, but I do like his suit. I don't think we have a super high tech Batman figure, do we?
Well, they made a Batwing in Batman set, but that was David.
Batwing,
yeah, it wasn't Lucius's son.
But I mean, I kind of want one because I want a Batman armor kind of cyber suit like that, which I don't think we have a figure like that of Batman.
The Batwing kind of is.
I thought he was more like a carry piece.
He's not an attack piece, no, by any means. He's not a power piece or anything. I'll pull him up while Drew talks about his last one for DC.
We got 2 more left.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, you said.
Oh, I apologize. That's right. Austin took my talent, so I skipped. Okay, so you're number 4 then.
Resurrection Man
Good choice.
Resurrection Man.
I can't believe we got this far without saying him yet.
He's insanely cool. He's got some great powers. They could do some really cool stuff with him. If you don't know, he dies, and basically, from the way he dies, he gets a power. So if he was like burnt to death, I think he gets like flame abilities or something. He's got a crazy power.
So what you're saying is he needs to go get beat up by a cosmic entity on a daily basis.
He needs to get eaten by Galactus.
He had a really decent book, and they canceled it.
That's what I heard. Like I hadn't had a chance to really read through it, but a lot of people were telling me that it's one of those books they'd recommend, even though it got canceled.
Yeah, it's not a bad book by any means.
I have a few Doom Patrol pieces on my list. There's a lot of the Doom Patrol that still hasn't been clicked yet. Number 1 being Negative Man. He's a really cool choice on there. And I'll go ahead and do my number 5 and do Elastigirl as well. We have Elastiman, but we don't have Elastigirl yet. So those are 2 Doom... And Doom Patrol...
She was on the vote. Elastigirl.
Yeah, she got cut. I don't think she
was
made
first round.
Yeah, I don't think she made the first cut. But a lot of people are really wanting Doom Patrol made, and those are 2 of the bigger name characters that still haven't gotten made. And there are actually even a lot of those older Doom Patrol pieces still hold up. Not even just Beast Boy, like Chief is really good. Minto is not bad. There's a couple of other ones that are still pretty good. So they need to fill out the Doom Patrol and Secret 6, in my opinion. Austin, who's your last one?
I want the New 52 Ares as like the old man.
The new,
Yeah. I don't know if Ares has ever been clixed. I did.
Yes.
I haven't looked.
Well,
but I figured it was the old school like armor war Ares if they'd done it.
It is.
What I want is like the manipulative, like not super warrior Ares. He's just like there causing chaos and warfare around him. And he's very wily. I really like Ares in the New 52 Wonder Woman a lot. I need to get caught up on it because I heard there's some fun stuff involving that.
There's huge stuff involving Ares.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Drew.
My last one's a rogue. It's Murmur. He's basically Zaz without talking.
Zaz doesn't talk a whole lot either.
Yeah. Zaz tends to go on rants, though. So, I mean, Murmur's cool. I just put him on there because I really couldn't think of anyone else. But we need rogues, and you know we need them.
I already said my last one. Because I did both of mine at the same time. So we'll let Drew start first on the Marvel side. Who's your number 1 Marvel you would make?
Gore the God Butcher.
Oh, good choice.
That was one that I saw when Drew posted that for his. I was so
he's desperately needed. He's desperately cool. Obviously not Gore without the sword, but just Gore.
So what are you thinking power for him? Some kind of like poisonous blade type?
Yeah.
He should have like giant reach and have a thing where like after he hits somebody, after they put a token, like he can poison them no matter where they are. Because he tracks a god, like once he finds them, like he chases them down until they're dead.
Yeah.
Stuff like that would be pretty sweet.
That would be pretty cool.
Austin, who's your number 1?
Franklin Richards.
I'm gonna stab you in the heart with a rusty sword. You know Franklin's my favorite freak.
But he's... Okay, would it make you feel better if I want the adult future Richards?
No.
Franklin Richards?
I'd be happy with either one.
I'm happy with either one, but I would like the older Richards a lot. Or, fine, I'll swap to Nathaniel Richards.
No, you can do Franklin. There has been a Nathaniel, by the way.
There has?
Yeah, so you can do Franklin.
I'll do Franklin then.
Fucking steal the son of a bitch.
I mean, he's one of the most powerful beings, and he still hasn't been clixed.
He's the most powerful motherfucker. In the future, he is the most powerful.
No, it's a Nathaniel Richards of Kang, though. I'm talking
It's,
like...
no, it's not.
I know
it's
it
in.
is, but...
It's the same person.
Yeah.
This is back in the day when they did limited editions with
Yeah,
the same
He's
sculptors.
pretty good.
We've splurged many times about how great Franklin Richards is and like how he makes Galactus his herald and all this stuff like that. And it would just be cool to get one, even like if it's a kid version and a future version with like some sort of mechanic to swap between them or something like that would be cool. What about you, Hunter?
Well, since Austin stole one of my favorite characters ever
Again.
created, I'm going to go with Prowler, but not the main universe Prowler who we have. Ultimate Spider-Man Prowler, which is Miles' uncle and a huge character in the storyline, and is on it, and especially the first story, and kind of gets his path set. It kind of helps him. I don't know how to phrase it, but basically, if it wasn't for his uncle, he wouldn't be Spider-Man, and it's a cool character as well. He wouldn't be super powerful. He'd be more like I'd have him at like a 60-ish, 70-ish point kind of melee piece with a little technology stuff, like maybe some kind of special little
It
end
doesn't
cap
say
thing or
much,
something
Aaron.
like
Hunter. Karnak is a 70-point melee piece.
It's true. More like a little, like a melee tie-up / tech piece.
I'm actually really wanting to pick I have Ultimate Spider-Man on my read list, and I'm really looking forward to starting it.
I'm going to kill you if you don't start over. Drew, number 1, Marvel.
Number 2, Marvel?
Number 1.
He started.
Oh, that's right. I apologize.
Hunter, you're terrible.
You're number 2.
Poor Drewster.
I forgot I switched you guys up.
Overdrive.
Ooh.
Overdrive,
Is there
if you
not
don't...
an Overdrive? I don't think
There is not an Overdrive.
All right, cool.
Yeah, Overdrive from, Spider-Man fame.
Superior
is he
foes.
the giant,
He's the one who
Wheel?
can turn into a car and stuff.
He's the wheel. Yeah, he's the wheel man.
Yeah, that's what
He's
I
the
thought.
wheel man.
Literally.
He is literally the wheel man.
So maybe what do you think for powers?
Well, Warlock kind of stole his thunder.
As I was gonna say something like Warlock, where he changes
Warlock
into
kind
a
of
vehicle.
stole his thunder, but
Yeah, but would he...
he could give bonuses or stuff if superior foes are in the car with him. Or
Get bonuses when he pilots vehicles, like some
Yeah.
kind of extra, maybe like +3 speed
Oh,
or something like
For
that.
all those Marvel vehicles we have.
Yeah.
when we do remakes, you'll hear so many boomerangs,
So many rogues.
so
Period.
many rogues.
Austin, who's your number 2?
Tesla from S.H.I.E.L.D. and Red She-Hulk.
Nah.
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, so Nikola Tesla in Red She-Hulk and in the original not the original S.H.I.E.L.D. comics, there was a short run that was done by, I think it was Hickman.
The
actually.
Hickman run.
Yeah. Tesla is he's basically a super genius, but he's part of a deeper S.H.I.E.L.D. organization that's been going from across time. And it's kind of his goal to make sure that the time streams stay correct. So, if people go screw with time, he tries to intercede, and him and the agents try to stop it. And he also has access to a machine that says, when a post-apocalyptic future event's coming up, and what they can do to steer the world towards stopping it. So it's... He himself, though, he's got, a really cool, battle suit kind of thing with his typical Tesla technology and all that stuff. He's a super genius, kind of like a Franklin Richards-like character, like the older one.
He ain't on Franklin's
He's
level.
not cosmic level, but
Damn straight.
he's a super genius. He's a really cool character.
My number 2 is Brood from X-Men. And
We never got a Brood?
he's a new character, period. Oh, you mean like a generic Brood?
Yeah.
No, I want Brew specifically.
Oh, Brew.
I guess I'd be happy with a generic Brood too.
I really would like a generic
But
Brood.
I'd rather have Brew.
I was kind of sad we didn't get a generic Brood for Wolverine the X-Men. actually.
Brew is a freaking awesome, hilarious, amazing character, and I just love Wolverine and the X-Men and all the books that have to do with the schools and all the new kids, but especially Brew. He's one of my favorites. He is if you guys don't know who Brood are, they're these crazy little swarming, kind of like a Nihilus's, as far as like swarming and attacking in packs and bloodthirsty. His drones, except
they're alien from
they're
Alien.
alien. Yeah, they're basically
the aliens from Alien.
And they're really badass. But he is a very intelligent and tries to kind of fight his urge, his natural urges and stuff. But he's a hilarious nerd character. And he would be very cheap, I think, and maybe like 40, 50 points, but have some kind of, maybe when he takes damage or when he's targeted with an attack, like he all of a sudden gets like a free like blade swing at you or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some kind of retaliation, like trigger scent type thing. That'd be fun. Drew, number 3.
Equinox.
Who's Equinox?
He's he was in like the villain anonymous program and stuff. He was in Civil War with like.
I've heard the name. I just haven't seen the
he can basically use fire powers, or he's got really unstable powers. He can either turn into ice or fire.
So would he have like a dice roll at the beginning of a turn to determine that or something?
That would be neat.
Incap or energy explosion.
Yeah.
Or poison or something.
Yeah, poison barrier.
Cool.
Stuff like that.
Or you just do 2 separate dials entirely. He swaps between.
Yeah, I think I've heard that name before, but I don't think I've ever read anything with him.
Yeah, he's not in a lot of stuff, but...
Austin, number 3.
I want a Prophet from Age of Apocalypse. He's is it William Stryker, I think?
Yeah.
In the Age of Apocalypse world, he's the leader of the human resistance at one point. He's kind of like, I don't want to say a Batman-like character, but he's very like super tactical, like almost a general. And he's very good about like setting up his teams and people who have powers, putting them in the right places to get the job done. And it's kind of interesting as a character, though, because he's fighting up against these superpowered individuals that are Omega levels and all this stuff, and he's still able to take them down through outwitting them and stuff. So I'm kind of picturing him as like not really a combat piece, but like almost one of those like masterminds who sits in the back of the map and draws lines of fire and moves people into position and stuff like that.
What about, I would think of him as like kind of like a Amanda Waller type piece.
Yeah.
Like where he can get in there and fight too, but you really want him to, or like a Maria Hill.
Yeah.
Like stealth mastermind.
Almost like a Commissioner Gordon, actually. Where like you can give power actions to move people up and stuff like that and move them into position.
Did Andrew Luck just throw a second interception?
Please tell me no.
No, okay. They just got stopped short of the... Jeez. Sorry, we're watching the Colts game, too. Playing the Patriots, who don't get me started on the Patriots. Anyways.
But I was going to say, it's kind of... The thing I like about Prophet, though, is when you read X-Men comics and stuff, you always take it from, like, the X-Men side of things and the mutant side of things. It's interesting to see it from the human side of things, where they're terrified of mutants and what's gone wrong with mutants and all that.
I gotcha. That's a cool choice. I'm going to go with Valeria, Franklin's sister. She is very similar, but
she's an inventor, though.
Not right. And if you guys participate in our Dial designs, back when we did team bases, I did a Future Foundation, and I did a Franklin and a Valeria. I didn't do a Franklin Mega Power. I did them like a current.
I like a Franklin-Valeria duo.
Absolutely, but my Valeria I had her have like tinkering powers, kind of like Hank Pym.
Yeah.
But I had it where she
Gizmo,
could
kind of.
Yeah, she. I would think of her similar to like a Gizmo. Excuse me, like a Gizmo, and like perplexing multiple people and granting other people on her team powers. I think she'd be a cool character. It's a travesty that her and Franklin have not been made.
I fully agree. Like,
it's ridiculous.
Out of all the characters on all these lists I'm giving, most of them are characters I want Clixed personally because I don't think they'll ever be Clixed for the most part. But like Franklin and Valeria, the fact they have not made figures for them yet is bothersome.
Drew, number 4?
Crossfire.
Crossfire.
This is one of the figures that I'm surprised hasn't been made. Because, I mean, he's really kind of generic, and I figured they would have done it early on. He's kind of a big Hawkeye villain.
You'll get caught up in the
crossfire. Plus his name's
That
great.
toy was so pitiful, actually, when you actually played it.
I never got it. I always wanted it.
I always wanted it, and I went
well,
to a friend's
of course
house.
you wanted it.
It had an awesome theme song.
I remember when that came out, the other popular toy that was out was Hot Shots basketball, the little
I have that one.
And I got Hot Shots instead, and I was like, I can deal with this. I like Hot Shots.
A friend of mine got caught Crossfire. I went to play it. Was so disappointed.
Austin, who's your number 4?
I want the Superior Spider-Man. I mean, I figure we're going to get him eventually, but it's a given. Like, I want to see what would be different with a similar power set of Spider-Man, but with the Doc Ock style of being, like, a little more sinister. Like, maybe he'd have blades and stuff, where Spider-Man doesn't usually get that. Or he'd have things with drones and stuff like that Spider-Man wouldn't typically
Pretty sure
get.
Spider-Man's already been Clix on.
I was going to say, I guess he would kind
He's a
of
different
count.
person,
Because
but
Doc Ock has been made and Spider-Man has been made, but there hasn't been a Doc Ock as Spider-Man, so I guess
okay, well then you won't like my 5th
the
choice.
judge will allow it. Last, yet another Future Foundation character, Bentley 23. Bentley is a clone of another super villain.
Is it the Mad Thinker?
Yes, the Mad Thinker, and Bentley is freaking hilarious, and he would be kind of a real cheap character, maybe kind of like Leech, except not quite as
that's what I was thinking of,
breaking as
actually.
Leech. Like I had of him like with stealth and perplex, and some kind of special outwit, and maybe like if he does something special, like maybe consumes an object, or I don't know, next to other people that have the same keyword or something, like maybe he could get a little stronger, you know what I mean? But
I feel like
mainly he'd be an outwit piece.
it'd be interesting to me to see him get like a special perplex where like he could perplex an ally down -1 to perplex an enemy down -2.
Actually, I think that's how I made him. I'm going to try to find him while you guys do your next one, because I made almost all of these guys on that. Drew, who's your number 5, your last Marvel?
Blackout.
Blackout!
Yeah. Another one I'm surprised hasn't been made. He's pretty neat. I don't know how they would, totally use his light manipulation powers, but they could figure out something. I mean, he's kind of a beast.
Stealth all of your characters within
so he'd be the
2 or
black
3 squares.
He would be
Yeah.
the black light ring the character.
Yeah, just give him black light power.
He's really cool. I like Blackout.
God dang, mother freaking Patriots. Austin, number 5.
My
Mark.
5th one you're not gonna like, so I
No,
have
just
a
go
different
ahead and do it.
one.
Go ahead.
I want the What If Dark Phoenix Magneto, where Magneto gets access to the Dark Phoenix powers, and so he already has his own like prejudices and wickedness and everything, and then he has the power on top of it.
Yeah, I mean...
But fine. Okay, I want to go with Cardiac.
Wow.
Cardiac.
Cardiac's been made, by the way.
Cardiac is?
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
he's been made. I have him. Let me pull him up. I have him, yeah.
Oh, he was. Never mind. Screw that.
Okay, never mind. I don't have him, but he exists. I have that guy. Okay, so Austin fails twice. I'm gonna go with Miss America, who is from not the capped version,
Miss America.
the
you
young
say.
the Young Avengers version. Have you guys been reading Young Avengers?
No.
No.
It's a cool book. You should try it out. She is a ultimate badass. She is a
Oh, is she the one that's Sharon Carter's cousin or whatever?
no. She's a Latin American teenage girl. She
I'm
has
thinking of Liberty or whatever.
yeah, I think you are. She has some teleportation, like transportation type powers. She has like super strength. She's a good fighter. She's just an all around, and she's really awesome. Like as far as her character development and everything.
You should have searched something
Just
more
Google
than Miss
Miss
America.
Yeah. I try to talk and freaking look stuff up at the same time. So we got a good little mix of choices there. Whenever we were talking
I like
about
Drew's choices because they're all these villains I've never heard of, but they sound awesome.
Blackout's kind of a Ghost Rider villain.
See, I haven't really read much of anything with Ghost Rider in it besides Circle of 4.
All right, so Drew, you want to kick us off with the? Actually, I'll go first because you guys got to go first on the other ones. My number 1 indie comics or video games, I'm gonna go with Sandman, and a Sandman. All the characters would be cool, but even just him in particular. I've been rereading Sandman here the last few weeks, and I don't remember the last time I just fell in love with the book. Like, it's amazing.
Was it Invincible?
No, this is way better. Like, Invincible's fun, and it's really cool when you experience it.
Wait,
But Sandman is
You've
just...
never read Sandman?
Sandman is an
Wow.
amazing literary accomplishment. I'm dead serious. Like,
See, I always wondered if people just overhyped it or if it actually was that.
well, I don't want to overhype it for you, but it's very good. As I told you, it's one of the better literary works I've ever read.
There's a reason.
All
Neil
things
Gaiman's a
considered,
genius.
considering every book I've ever read, like not just comics.
Yeah.
It's extremely good. But he would be an awesome character to have himself. There's a bajillion and one powers he could have. he definitely would have Mystic Seam ability. Maybe some kind of mind control, special smoke cloud. There's tons of stuff he could have. Either him individually or a whole set, because there's some other characters you could Clix Death and some of the other ones too. Drew, who's your number one?
The Phantom.
The Phantom.
If you haven't seen the Phantom, he's a badass. He shoots shit. He's the Phantom.
I've seen the Phantom Stranger.
No, not the Phantom Stranger.
You don't like the Phantom Stranger?
I love the Phantom Stranger, but he's already been Clixed. The Phantom.
Austin, number one?
I want Exo Manowar.
That's one I figured one of us would say, because that's kind of an up-and-coming, getting more popular.
The book's getting better and better as it goes on. Like, it's very odd at first. Basically, for those of you who don't know who he is, it's a Valiant comic. He's a barbarian leader that's kind of fighting against the Romans, and he gets pulled through time. Or he gets kidnapped by aliens, pretty much, and he finds, like, this armor suit that pulls him through time. So he's kind of like an incompetent Iron Man, kind of, because he has, like, the brash, like, barbarian style of attacking, and he's very up in your face, but he's got high-tech alien stuff at the same time. Just a straightforward, like, brawler armor character.
My number two would be V from V for Vendetta. Everybody knows who he is by now if you read comics. Awesome book. And I don't know. I kind of picture him as like an Anarchy style character, except better. Because Anarchy I don't really care much for. You know what I mean? I want something to do with blowing up objects across the map.
So kind of like a Damian Wayne mixed with...
Yeah, a Damian Wayne, but cheaper, because Damian Wayne's too expensive for what he does.
I agree.
And with a little bit of some reflexes and some special... Like, he would be able to hold his own in melee, too. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm thinking like a 80-90 point figure. What do you want for number two, Austin?
You mean Drew?
Drew. I was just going to kind of go back and forth.
What do I want for number two?
Yep.
Numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I was expecting you to throw that out there. That's kind of a no-brainer. I don't know. Does anybody have the specific rights to the Ninja Turtles toys?
Hasbro has the rights to their toys.
Then they're not getting it, but...
Hasbro's really, like, stingy about that kind of stuff.
I'll look it up.
As a toy company.
I do.
To look it up for sure while
have others, but yeah.
Austin, number two?
Number two.
Eternal Warrior, which is another Valiant comic. Effectively, it's kind of like Vandal Savage. He's basically like an immortal, but he's spent his whole life studying warfare and studying like combat, and he's been all these important figures through history. Like you learn through the comics are actually him. So like he was Charlemagne, and he was Caesar, and he was all these people, and it's really interesting.
Did you say Vandal Savage?
He's kind of like Vandal Savage.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever heard of. What book is he in? Is it called?
He shows up in Exo Man of War,
okay.
And then he got his own comic recently.
Okay, cool. I haven't actually ever read any Exo Manowar yet.
It's not bad. It's not great.
My number three is Jeopard from Sweet Tooth.
Gosh, I almost said Sweet Tooth Clix, but the problem would be like Jeopard would be the main one I'd want.
Yeah, he'd be the only one that could really like fight.
Yeah,
and he's a badass.
Unless they gave us like generic animal people.
Sweet Tooth is an awesome book, one of my favorite books, and one of the books when I first got Austin kind of hooked on comics like. I really got him spoiled on Sweet Tooth when it first came out.
Spoiled on Sweet Tooth.
That was probably the first. That was the first comic that I had to like wait weekly for, and it drove me almost mad like waiting for it each week. 'Cause it was really good, and it was bad about ending on like cliffhangers. But it was. I would definitely recommend that book to people.
Jeopard, I would have as like a 85, 90 point brawler. Like, he would have. Maybe super strength to pick up lights, maybe a blades here and there for like if he has a knife or a hatchet or something. He kind of
reminds me of like Cable if Cable didn't have superpowers.
I guess I can see that. And guns, because Jeopard doesn't usually get guns either. Jeopard is just a badass and one of my favorite characters from any comic.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do my number 4, which is the Will from Saga. The Will would be badass.
I would like Saga Clix, period, actually.
Absolutely.
But there's just...
I'd rather them wait until Saga gets further, because I know we're going to get to see so many more cool characters.
I feel like at the moment there's not enough characters to like carry a set is the big reason, but there are like one or two characters I really want to see in Clix.
The will would be freaking sick, and you could have a lion cat, like bystander, that he can spit out like Alyosha has the lion. You could do his lance power, his extended lance, where he could melee from so many squares away.
Was it Swagnito that did that for the dial design first?
I think it was Swagnito, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like cheating. Like it was the assassin or the bounty hunter.
Oh yeah, it was. That was a long time ago, man.
It doesn't feel like it, but it really was.
Austin, who's your next?
I want a Walking Dead set.
That's also a no-brainer, man.
Yeah, we've talked about that one before. Like,
I have dials for each one. I have the Clix. I just haven't remade them.
Yeah.
Drew's got more.
I got more. Yeah.
Who do you want besides the turtles?
Okay, so I know a lot of you probably haven't played this game, but it's basically Miyazaki Clix. But I would really kill for a Ni no Kuni set.
Ni no Kuni's pretty cool. That or Pokemon, either one. I mean, you're already getting Yu-Gi-Oh now.
Yeah, but I feel like
Viva Pinata.
I feel like all the Pokemon would be a bit cut and dry, and they could get a lot more variety out of Ni no Kuni. But
yep, I'd be happy with either one. Ni no Kuni was a really fun game. Actually, I never got to finish it. I'm trying to see while we're talking if turtles are only Hasbro. I don't see the name Hasbro on the front of the toys though. Austin, you want to go with your next one?
I want all the figures they didn't Clix in the Assassin's Creed set to make it an Assassin's Creed set. There was no Leonardo da Vinci, there was no Desmond, there was no Altair. They just kind of threw like a couple characters in there.
plus, there's some really cool stuff out of Assassin's Creed 4 they could put in there.
3 and 4, because 3 wasn't out yet.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because like what we talked about that one time, I kind of want a Desmond, like a Chase or something, that has a morph mechanic back through all the different Altairs, or all the different main characters.
That could be cool.
Stuff like that would
Invincible Iron Man beat you to it, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could... whatever they did Assassin's Creed, just make it better than the ones you already made, because the ones you made kind of suck.
Not only are they terrible pieces, like they're just meh.
Yeah.
You can go buy a brick
exciting.
of that for
They're
$20.
poorly inspired. Okay, so I'm looking at Ninja Turtle toys. I don't think they are Hasbro.
They might not be.
I looked at new ones and old ones, and I keep seeing this same little logo. It's like a little blue Play something brand. I'll see if I can find it while we're talking.
Well, maybe they could get Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, maybe they should do Turtles.
It's also going to depend on who has rights to like the
Turtles
team.
is also a very big comics. I mean, it started out as a comic.
Have you seen the recent art that's been done on it? Like people have been posting it all the time.
Yes, the IDW, the new series is amazing.
Oh my gosh, the art's gorgeous.
Have you read the new IDW?
I haven't read the new one.
Oh my
I
gosh!
haven't either, but the art's
Secret
gorgeous.
History of the Foot Clan was freaking awesome.
I have the there's a series that just came out. They have all the original drawings and stuff in the books, and it looks really nice. It's a big hardback. It's really great.
I highly suggest IDW's last year's whole run on Ninja Turtles is really freaking good. See that little logo I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Play
I see what you're
something.
talking about.
That's what I keep seeing. So it's not Hasbro that does only Hasbro may do some turtles, but they definitely don't do all of them. My number 5 is another Saga character, and it's Prince Robot the Fourth.
I would like Prince
He would
Robot.
be awesome too.
What, do you have a special screen where he shows a penis?
Why not? Shit, distract other Clix
You
figures.
saw the crap with that went down on iTunes,
Yeah.
right?
And then just Invincible Clix in general. Conquest. We already had an Invincible set that was very old and don't hold up too well these days. Definitely need a Conquest.
I would honestly like a full Invincible set. Like,
You-
there's enough characters.
You
Yeah.
could easily do it.
Yeah, you could do a full
With
set.
the characters they've made, yeah.
I've got like Conquest, Oliver, Immortal, Monster Girl, Bulletproof, Mauler Twins, Brit. Like that's just ones they haven't made yet. Then they can remake all
God, I'd kill
all
for
the
some
ones
Mauler
that-
Twins Clix.
and that's all I got for my indie. You guys got another indie
No.
or video game?
I've got one, and then I want to pick out Ricky's, though. Because
Come
Ricky had a good one, too.
on, Colts.
I want XCOM Clix. I know they're never going to happen, but I like the aliens. The aliens' powers are really easily translated into Clix powers with like
Agreed.
mind control and stuff like that. XCOM is a turn-based tactical game, so I mean it fits the Clix style of everything. And it would just be a full generic set, really, because there aren't any specific characters in it. But Ricky and me were talking on the thread about... he brought up Last of Us Clix, and I said Left 4 Dead Clix. Because, I mean, you have the main special infected.
Touchdown Colts! Woo! Woo! That was a good pass, man. That was ridiculous.
You have the main special infected from both the first game and the second one.
Yep.
And you can have the jockey. Like the jockey you put on the enemy's card, and at the beginning of their turn, you can move the character or something.
That would be so awesome.
I mean,
and then, like, one of your friendly characters has to purposefully damage the character who has the jockey to get rid of it.
And then, like, smokers would be like Wonder Girl, where they pull them to them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's so many fun ones, and then the survivors would just be like different weapon types. Or
Well,
something.
honestly, Left 4 Dead was something I was thinking about too, and I was thinking it's actually one that has a good chance of happening
because of Dota 2.
Dota 2.
And Valve's really good about merchandising out their stuff.
I can't say Dota 2 because it's already been made. I would have said Dota 2.
I can't wait to see what the rest of the Dota 2 ones are.
So, you see, and that's just three guys' opinions. I mean, we could bring three different people in here, and they could list off a totally whole nother list of characters. So it's like, even though Clix has been around for years and years, we still are missing tons of characters. A lot of these are very popular. Like, not all of... Over, I'd say, half of these, everybody who's listening probably knew who they were. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're listing a very...
I don't know, I listed a few.
I know, but I'm saying for the most part, these are not super obscure characters.
I want to know... I would like to see feedback from the listeners of, like, which ones of our suggestions would you like to see personally? Like, I know we asked, like, what would you like to see?
Mine are way too obscure.
We'll touch on it in the community section. Let's move into what we played, because first of all, we'll talk about Wednesday, where it was 600 points Lord of the Rings and Mage Knight, and you had to play a theme team, and like I said, any of your figures could be from either any Lord of the Rings set or Mage Knight. But you had to play a theme team, and you had to have at least one person on your team who had an epic action. And actually, you didn't get to go, did you? Awesome.
No, I had a team built, but we slid off the road on the way to work, and I was like, screw it, I'm not going anywhere today.
Yeah, in case people don't know, there's been freaking blizzard apocalypse.
We got 2 feet of snow pretty much, and then it's just been ice ever since until today.
It's really nice today.
Everybody got out of work except for me, because I work at a hospital, and it doesn't matter if...
I work in a doctor's office connected to said hospital.
A tornado could remove 85% of the hospital, and I'd still have to go into work the next day, so that's about how it goes. Everybody else has been off work most of the week, or at least a couple days out of the week.
I got screwed on my PTO, by the way. I had the day off that we all got off anyway, so like they didn't refund my PTO for it.
Funny story. I only got off Monday.
Yeah, but everybody else would have had to use their PTO.
No, they just gave them the full day.
Well, then you should talk to your...
I know, I did, but they said that's just how it works, and I was pretty bummed about it.
That sucks. I still felt sympathy because I was at work, but anyway.
Sucks to be you. I took Tuesday off too.
Yeah, so my truck's been iced into my driveway all week. I just now got it out today. So it's been pretty bad up here.
Because it's been like negative 50 the entire week.
Yeah, it's been the coldest it's been since I moved up here. This is the coldest it's ever been.
We went to come into work Wednesday, and we came over a hill, and we saw like 3 cars off the road, and that's the first symbol of like this is not going to be a good place to be driving. And we went down like this hill like 10 feet, hit a patch of ice, and just went completely sideways off into the ditch. Like, we weren't going like 10 miles an hour.
Wednesday wasn't as bad, but Tuesday was terrible.
There were a few back roads that were really bad on Wednesday. But some random guy who just happened to be driving by right there was like, you need me to pull you out? And it's like, sure.
Nope, want to be in this ditch the entire day.
Well, like, of course, are probably going to be people that'll whine about, like, oh, you scratched my car while pulling me out of a ditch.
Well, anyways, Wednesday, we did end up still having Clix. And we did have a slightly smaller turnout because of the format and because of the weather and everything. I just played an Orcs team because there were a lot of the Mage Knight pieces that I've been wanting to try out. I used some of the Soldier ones. I talked about those last week. This time I tried out the Orcs. I tried out Heroclix, who's from the starter set, who I said in our video review, I think is the best Mage Knight piece, or at least one of the best ones in the whole set.
How did he play?
He played just how I predicted, man. He is a beast. I played him, Con Bone Spike, who's 175 points. He's kind of the leader of the Ascendant, the Orcs. And I played a Bonebreaker Shaman, who is by far the MVP. And I played those 3, and then I played 3 Orc Archers, the ones that ignore Elevated and Hindering. They're very good. And I played Lurtz from Fellowship of the Ring.
I think it was 2 Lurtz at Gen Con. I love that figure.
He's extremely good. He has like top dial, charge, willpower, exploit.
He's the
which those are 3 powers that don't come too often in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, kick his dial up real quick. I'm trying to think if he's the one I thought he was.
And then
he gets charge flurry.
Charge flurry blades, but he has to target 2 different people with each attack. But
which
still,
is fine in Lord of the Rings.
In Lord of the Rings, charge flurry blades is nuts. He's only 70 points. He's very good. The 3 Orc Archers are cool. Like I said, if they're adjacent to each other, they first of all they have enhancement, and then they have they ignore hindering and elevated terrain. So there's a lot of cool tricks you can do with them.
Both those figures were ones I ran a ton of at Gen Con. I loved them.
The Bonebreaker Shaman was from Mage Knight. I said he's my MVP. He's 80 points. He has TK, Barrier with 8 range, Perplex, and Support. All of those 4 powers are powers that are hard to find in Lord of the Rings and Mage Knight, especially for Orcs.
Yeah.
And he supplies me with all 4 of them. And, I thought the Colts just blocked the punt. Are they calling running into the kicker? Just because they hit each other? I guess we'll see. Anyways, then he goes on to Psychic Blast.
Yeah.
Which none of my orcs, especially my orcs, are going to have. So he was really, really useful. And if I didn't have him, I would not have stood a chance in any of my games. Con Bone Spike I used almost every game just for his epic action. 175 points, and I was just using him for epic actions because it's that good. We were playing a 600-point game. So at 600, he gets to choose 3 characters marked with an action token and deal them 1 damage. Don't have to be within so many.
So it's like Saruman. He doesn't have to roll to do it.
Right, but Saruman's is penetrating.
Yeah,
but his is not. But it's
I would
automatic.
almost rather have the automatic.
I liked Saruman. It was very useful
because Saruman screwed me up so bad. Because
Horde tokens, get out of here! I just kill them free every turn. I'm just like boom, screw your Horde.
Because Horde tokens usually have combat reflexes or super senses.
Yeah, they never have toughness. And so I was just getting tons of points off Horde tokens. I would hit figures. I had a lot of exploit on my team. I made a pretty good team, I have to say. It was a good, balanced team.
Did you have fun with the Mage Knight pieces?
I had
That's
a blast.
What I want to know.
I always enjoy Mage Knight and Lord of the Rings, and I try to play them a decent amount mixed in with my other... Like, I try to make theme teams that use 1 or 2 of them, like the Soldier team.
Yeah.
And there was another Mage Knight that I just used here recently. Who was it? Yeah, it'll hit me in a minute, but I used a different Mage Knight piece, too. Heroclix has exploit weakness, and Lurtz has exploit weakness, so I would go after, knock people off of their dampeners, and then that way Khan could be hitting them with his epic action.
Yeah.
And then you got the Orc Archers you can use on different maps and really take advantage of that ignoring elevated and let them shoot other people while they can't be shot. All 3 of my matches were super close, though, and generally the strategy was line up a TK with the Bonebreaker and Heroclix, because Heroclix can hit for 6 exploit, and then when he does, he immediately
super strength exploit,
and then he immediately sidesteps and gets another close combat attack if he KOs. So I would go after a target that I figured I could kill with 6 exploit, and then I'd TK him out, perplex his attack, make sure he already had 1 token so his TA goes off. So he's a 12 attack, 6 damage exploit. I'd TK him out, hit somebody, sidestep, hit somebody again for another 4, 5, 6 damage. First match was against an elf team, went pretty, not easily, but we had a crappy map, but I won. It wasn't super close. Second one, though, was against Necromancer, Saruman, and who's the big dude that you were going to play? The dude with the ball and chain?
Witch King of
Witch King. He had those 3. All 3 are super hard to kill. If you look at Necromancer, he's 250 points, Mystics, 9 clicks of Invincible, Impervious.
19 as a...
Yes, as a Lord of the Rings piece, and 19 Invincible.
Oh, that's the Desolation of Smog one.
Yeah, it's a new one. So, he had this Witch King and the Saruman, who has like really far range with Outwit and Perplex. Well, I noticed that Okay, Con Bone Spike is useless. All
Yeah.
these guys have dampeners for days. What I wanted to do was try to make him come to me and then take advantage of the fact that I can shoot without him being able to see me. I should have lost against this team, I'll be totally honest. I just used my worker spiders to block lines of fire so that I couldn't be probed, and then I saved all my theme team probs up to go for a big shot with Heroclix on the Necromancer. I decided to focus on the Necromancer because he's the only one that had outwit or willpower. He only has 3 figures on a 600-point team. So I'm like, if I can take down the one that has willpower, I can outpace the rest of them and probably win on points.
And for 250 points, like, he has 3 clicks of Invincible, but one good 6 hit and then a bunch of little exploit hits would take him out.
The bad thing was I didn't have outwit to just outwit his Invincible.
Yeah, true.
And look at this Pulse Wave.
Too.
Here's,
oh, gosh.
Necromancer has Pulse Wave with 12 range. He managed to hit my guys twice with hitting all of them for 1, like my entire team.
Oh, that sucks.
Jesus.
What I ended up doing was working together a shot. He moved up on a ledge. I TK'd out Heroclix with an object and hit him for 6 plus Empower. 6 plus Empower, so 7, so he had to take 4 of it. So that put him onto Impervious. And then he killed Heroclix, which was my big main piece. But I was like, that's a fair trade for me. Because even though I just lost my main attacker, he's off of Invincible, and now I can start chipping away at him.
Yeah, and he's down to a 17.
So I got Bonebreaker down to his Psychic Blast, and I just slowly but surely took pieces off of him and finally took him down, and I won on points at the end of the game. I killed the Witch King pretty easily, and then I was trying to chase Saruman down as he ran away. I had Saruman on his last click. Yeah, his last click.
The Witch King...
when time ran out.
The problem with running the Witch King is you have to run him like I was going to with Nazguls, especially the Black Rider that can carry a bunch of Nazguls. Because what you kind of do is you use the Witch King, but when he gets down dial, you pull him back and you use his regen to get back, because he has like 3 clicks of regen on his last 3 clicks.
And last game I was playing against Radagast, who's a freaking boss.
Radagast is so good.
Saruman, who's extremely good. He can mind control and ignore blocking terrain when he does so.
Yep.
And then the Thorin and Gandalf duo, which can do a decent amount of damage.
I think they're overcosted.
I was going to say, I personally think they're overcosted too. And Thranduil is somebody who I had ignored. But if you look at this, for 93 points, he has a click where he's a 4 damage for 93 points.
I thought we sung his praises.
With enhancement, he's okay.
4 damage, 11 attack is pretty good for 93.
He was Paul was purposefully pushing him so that he would go into that 4 damage enhancement.
And then an 18 Mastermind Super Senses in Lord of the Rings is nothing to scoff at.
So this theme team, however, wasn't actually a theme team. Neither was my second team opponent, though. So really, I was kind of playing a little at a disadvantage. I thought I was going to lose to this team. I ended up barely winning by points. I actually thought I was losing when time ran out, but it turns out I did kill Gandalf and Thorin, and they cost a lot of points.
Yeah, they do.
Compare them for 234 to the Necromancer for 250.
Oh yeah, Necromancer's a lot better.
They are 4 clicks of Pinsai, though.
Running shot too, which the Necromancer doesn't have move and attack. It was a close match. I made one bad mistake that cost me alerts, and I deserved it. I just messed up a horrible positioning. I just had a brain fart and lost alerts. I really needed exploit against this team because they all have good dampeners except for Saruman. I was able to use Con on Saruman and Thranduil because they both have Mastermind Super Senses.
True. I didn't
So
think about that.
the goal was to get I didn't want to deal with Saruman because what do you think you're going to do with Saruman against my team? Mind Control Heroclix and hit one of my guys for second exploit. He did.
Yeah.
He one shot one of my guys. Then sidestep and had to go. So I really had to get rid of Mind Control. I never did because he kept hitting Shape Change, but I ended up winning on points.
He
and
couldn't
I ended up getting
he couldn't sidestep swing with him afterwards.
Heroclix. Yeah, he can. It's not after it resolves. It's immediately after he KOs.
Oh, it says immediately. Okay.
Yeah, so it was a pretty nasty team. I barely won on points, and I won the whole thing and got the OP kit stuff, which is awesome because that was one of the events.
I'm happy you got that stuff.
Like, I don't care about AVX. I don't care about winning. I don't really care too much about our escalation league, but like this is what I really wanted to win was Lord of the Rings because I really want the OP get stuff, and there's no other way I'm going to get it. Dugout doesn't get.
I was really sad that I didn't go in the long run because like I liked my team. I was running 3 of those Nazguls that have like exploit for most of their dials and like 3s and 4s, and I was running them with like 7 worker spiders because those worker spiders are like what 10, 12 point enhancers or empowers with barrier and leap climb. And then the Black Rider can carry other Nazguls, and Witch King's epic action knocks someone's defense down too. So like that team with the Necromancer stuff would have been like a cakewalk to me. I would have had Outwit and like 50 exploits to just like one-shot the Necromancer.
I just want to sing Heroclix praises because he was so good. And then because I would hit somebody for 6, kill him, sidestep, pick up an object, hit somebody for 5 or 6.
I didn't even think about sidestepping and picking up an object on the way over to somebody else.
And then they would hit him. In my first game, he hit me, knocked me on the Quake. I quaked, hit 2 people, knocked one to a wall. That killed him. Sidestep over, quake, and hit 2 more people. It was like I was just dishing damage like left and right, and he's just a blast to play too. And that Ascendant TA,
amazing.
All the Mage Knight TAs.
We were just talking earlier about like TAs we want to see over in the main thing at Dugout today, and I said I want to see the Klingon Ascendant ATA or TA over in the main series.
So, anyways, today we played our best build. It was 300 points, and you had to play a theme team, and I made 8 of my own little battlefield conditions, which are really cool, and people seem to like them. And we did best build for this, so our 3 finalists were X-Force 1 from our Gmail account. I played his team. It was Amazing Spider-Man Dagger, Vampire Jubilee, and Cyclops and Storm off of the team bases, and then the full book. Drew played GL Stocky's team. He had is it an armor theme team? Armor theme team with Silver Samurai plus the Hand ATA, the Argonauts Tony Stark, and Split Lip and Rescue with Army Private, Pog, and Full Book. And then Austin had Grim Guy's team from Reddit, the Heroclix subreddit. He had Gravity Feed Puck, and then he had Guardian, Aurora, North Star book with Null's Hammer. And Austin and I both went, or did you go 1 and 2?
I went 1 and 2.
I went 2-1, and Austin and Drew both went 1-2. So X-Force 1 from Gmail, he ended up finishing on top. I enjoyed this team. This is actually 3 of these pieces are ones I haven't played and have on my list on my phone of like pieces I need to play very soon. Like Jubilee, Psylocke, and Storm are all 3 on there, and honestly, I'm going to play them all again because I had to sit out the first round because of the bye, and Psylocke and Storm were so fun and so good.
Both those pieces are so good.
They were really good. Vampire Jubilee was good in the one game that I got her going.
Well, it's like most vampire pieces.
Yeah. But she only costs like 30-some points. It's like even if she gets killed, it's like, yeah, that sucks because of the potential she could have done, but it's like, those 30 points. Like, like...
And there's not too many primes you're going to throw on an X-Men team anyway. Like, I can't really think
Is there an X-Men prime besides her? I don't think there is.
No, there isn't.
Cerise doesn't have X-Men, I don't think.
The Magneto doesn't have it, does he?
I don't think so, but I'll look at it while we're talking.
No,
so.
that's
I
Age
think
of X Magneto.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, wait, yeah, he does.
No, that's the other one.
Oh.
Yeah, he does. He does have the keyword. First round I set out for the bye. Second round I played an opponent who had a lot of super senses and shape change, and I continued my best build bad luck of never hitting an attack. I missed 11 or 12, I can't remember. Never hit an attack second game, so I got 0 points. Thought I was basically out of the running for finishing our best build, but then last game me and Drew played, had a pretty close match at first, but I was able to mind control his rescue and make him keep in cap and Silver Samurai.
Oh, that sucks.
And we had the zombie battlefield condition. So when you KO, the first person that you KO, you get them on your team for the rest of the game on their last click, which she still has in cap. So I kept in capping him, killed her, got her again, and she was right next to him, and just kept in capping him while the rest of my team tore him up. So I did beat Drew's team and ended up getting 2-1. Drew, how did the armor team do? Who did you play? What kind of matchup did you have your first game?
I went up against the Iron Man I think it was
Iron Patriot.
It was the Iron Man Iron Patriot duo from Iron Man 3 movie, which I seem to see every friggin' week.
That set had some good pieces.
Well, that piece in particular, we have been seeing a lot.
It's everywhere, and I'm getting sick of it, honestly. But I kind of played a bit over aggressive, and it kind of costed me. Yeah, I should have played it better. Got way too over aggressive. Hunter's in second round. I had to buy, so I was like, I'll just sit here and talk shit. Third round, I went up against Hunter, and we had a very close game. It could have gone either way. It was just rough because he only mind controlled my. I should have killed my friggin' rescue sooner than I did. But then again, Vampire Jubilee was in my face, and I didn't want Vampire Jubilee to get going, so I killed her.
One-shotter.
Yeah.
Austin, how'd your games go? How was the Alpha Flight pieces? None of us have played any of those yet. So.
Oh, by the way, when you play Silver Samurai and you put hand ATA on him, Realm of Death is always going to be your map choice.
It was very
almost
annoying.
every single square is.
It was very annoying.
A, you have phasing teleport, and B, pretty much every single square is pretty much
that's
yours.
a good tip. In fact, that can be just the tip.
That is one of the best maps.
Is for the hand ATA, the Realm of Death is a very good map. It's a good map for a lot of situations. That's one of the better maps.
I play that map, honestly, probably 90% of my games.
Yeah, you play it quite a bit.
If it's one of those maps that you get kind of home field advantage when you really learn the ins and outs of it.
I tell you what else it's really good for is just book teams in general.
Oh, yeah.
Because
it buys you enough time to drop your hammers.
Well, you can go to the sides and drop them, and when you go to the sides, there's a wall on each side for you to sit and hide behind when you drop hammers.
Well, what I like is there's two avenues of approach down the side. So you can kind of, even if you're playing a ranged team, you can kind of set up almost a kill box and kind of force your opponent to come to you and just get drilled on their way in. I also like its flip side. Blue Side of the Moon's a really nice map too. It's like multiple layers of elevated and stuff like that. But I actually played Realm of Death for a few of my games today with the Alpha Flight. Alpha Flight was interesting. Like it's one of those teams I feel like had I had more points. Like if this was like a 500 point Alpha Flight game, I probably been able to do a lot better. But I feel like at 300 I didn't enjoy the pieces I played as much as I thought I would. North Star Aurora is an interesting combo. When they're adjacent to each other, they get +1 attack, and they can both use Pulse Wave as if they had 8 range, so 4 range Pulse Wave. Aurora also has a damage power where if she hits someone with a ranged combat attack, they get -2 attack to your next turn. So, and when they use Pulse Wave, they ignore each other. So what you do is you kind of set up a Pulse Wave trap, kind of, and you kind of hope your opponent doesn't realize what you're doing. So you kind of make your opponent come to you, they get stuck in the Pulse Wave, and you just double Pulse Wave. Each one uses it. And you have, with Guardian gives them all +1 attack, because I had 2 or more Alpha Flight on the team.
Cool.
So they had 12 attack. They had a 12 attack Pulse Wave. Both of them did.
He can carry 2 Alpha Flights.
But they have flying symbols, so he can only carry Puck.
He's not a bad piece.
So what you do is you kind of set it up and then you Pulse Wave a bunch. Or you kind of Hypersonic Running Shot and set up the Hypersonic where you land next to him for Running Shot Pulse Wave. But the problem is when your opponent realizes what they're capable of, they either keep it range or they try their best to pick off North Star. Because Aurora's good, and North Star's good for their first few clicks. Aurora's still okay on her lower clicks, but North Star gets hit once and he drops onto 8s and stuff. Guardian was kind of the same way. He's a good Pulse Wave piece, has some nice abilities, but his defense and attack just dropped like rocks. My first game was against Harry, and he was running... What was he running? We played on Realm of Death. Oh no, we played on Hobbit Hole. He was playing the Bane and the Bane Thugs from Arkham Origins. Basically the problem I had was I kind of balled my team up, so I had to use Puck to kind of block line of fire. Because Hobbit Hole has a line of blocking around the whole map. It's not like a wall, it's just a square.
Yeah.
So that Bane can shoot a rocket launcher through one square blocking. So Harry kind of kept him on the outside like, I'm Bane peeking in the window of the Hobbit hole with an RPG ready to shoot at somebody.
That is a good thought.
So I kept moving Puck in the way to make it where if he's going to shoot somebody, he's going to have to be Puck, and he's not going to get an energy explosion off of it. So, that Bane, the Bane itself isn't a great figure is the thing. The problem is that Bane, when he has Anger's Hammer, and he's constantly able to quake and heal up and all that stuff, was just a force to reckon with.
I agree. What I left in the toilet bowl last night could be good with Anger's Hammer.
True. And the thing is, most of my team was like 2 or 3 damage at most, so I really wasn't getting the damage output needed to get through Anger's Hammer. Second match was against... Who was my second match against? Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, Dark Knight Rises Joker, and I think one of the Arkham guards. I caught him with the Pulse Wave trap kind of thing. I made him come to me, and I just kept spamming Pulse Wave, while Guardian was way back in the corner just shooting shots at him. I ended up taking that game and winning it. The third match was against AVX Spider-Man with Fear Itself Doctor Strange, which I don't want to say was like a hard counter, but it was really hard for me to actually hit, because even with like a 12 attack, it was hard for me to hit a 20-21 defense while my opponent has prob, and while he has a 50% super senses from range. I like the Alpha Flight pieces. I think they could be built to their strengths properly. I would not say that this team setup is one I see myself really running again in the future. Overall, it was a 1-2. I won second game. I got 150 my first game and 0 my last.
So our winner was X-Force1 and from Gmail, and we will be contacting you very soon to get your poker chips, see what you want made. I got the shipments out to our December and November winners this week. Actually, I already heard back from one guy who said he got his and that they looked great and everything, so I know they should be getting to you guys really soon. And we will be... Our next winner won't come for a couple weeks because that'll be Dow Design, and we still have 2 more weeks for that. And Austin, you're going to be given the second assignment here in just a minute if you want to think of your assignment for week 2.
Have to think of one.
So that was what we played, and we kind of had just a tip mixed in there. We're going to move into community. Our community section, our question this week was kind of playing off of our main topic of what Clix would you like to be made. I basically posed it as you can make 3 Clix that have never been Clix before. What would it be? Now, of course, this was a very diverse, question. We got tons and tons and tons of answers. I'm trying to think of ones that we saw quite a bit. Pixie, I did see more than once. I saw Jeanette a few times.
I like the Thunderstrike.
Manifold is a good choice, who's now a big Avengers character.
Deathstorm, which is the Firestorm.
That would be... They could do the entire
Crime Syndicate. I agree.
Other than that...
Simon Baz was on there a few times.
Oh, yeah, that is...
Oh,
which I think they have actually shown...
I saw a lot of people say Spawn, too.
I think we will actually...
That is a good choice. We should have said Spawn.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking you were going to say it, Drew, so I didn't even put it on my list.
The problem with this was I did this in like 15 minutes.
There's also just too many choices.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can literally think of any comics, thing that's ever existed.
The other thing that kind of sucked was I built my list, and then I would think of something better, and I'd have to edit, and then I regret editing certain ones off there. There's a few Assassin's Creed characters on there, too, that I've seen, too. So, apparently we're not the only ones who really want an actual good Assassin's Creed.
Speak for yourself, funny.
A lot of people said Killer Moth. I did actually, both on Reddit and our Facebook, people said a superior Spider-Man.
I think Killer Moth should have one.
This is one that I can't believe I didn't think of. Professor Pig.
Oh my gosh.
He's becoming a more popular Batman villain. He's been in more Batman books recently since... when Batman and Robin started, he was the part of one of the biggest stories in there. Not the New 52 run, but the run before that, he was a very big part.
When are we getting Crazy Quilt?
Colossal Mogu.
Are there any other ones that we heard like multiple times?
I see Killer Moth in bold, underlined.
I don't think there's really any other ones that we heard multiple times. So, good. Of course, a big diversity in the answers there. Best build we already talked about. Dial design this week's was Minion. We got quite a few answers on there. We haven't done the gradings yet. We'll be doing those tomorrow. Hopefully we can get the scores up tomorrow and the feedback and everything. And we'll do our feature dial next week for which minion that we like the best. I really like the Hawkeye minion, personally. The tracksuit mafia guys who say bro all the time. They're if you've read Hawkeye by Matt Fraction, that you will absolutely love that entry. If you guys want to check out the dial design thread and look at some of these pieces. As far as our YouTube channel, I have yet another rules explanation video. This week's is about Absorbing Man.
It was a fun video. I watched it.
And make sure you watch next week's, Austin.
Oh, I will.
In particular.
Is it going to make fun of something I screw up all the time?
No. You should just watch it. Just mark me saying you need to watch it.
This sounds really ominous.
Absorbing Man is
It does.
a pain in the butt, and I knew that a lot of people, not just locally, but a lot of people would be wanting info on him, so I thought that was a good piece to cover. I kind of went through what he does and doesn't get around, and I feel feedback on the rules videos have been very strong. So just remember, guys, if check those out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give them a watch. They're all 10 minutes or less, and they really I try to go into detail a little more than usual on those to show you why, not just say no, you don't get to use this. Explain why you don't get to use it, so you guys can kind of learn these things and then apply them while you're playing Clix and come to your own conclusions, when on future pieces.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second just because this commercial reminded me while we were talking about Assassin's Creed. I want a Benjamin Franklin Clix.
They could do Ben Franklin and Deadpool.
Yeah, they could.
Ghost of Ben Franklin. Email question this week. We only had one, and it was from X-Force 1, who won Best Build, so congrats to you. What is your favorite TV show of all time? Now that's
Jesus Christ!
That's a really hard question to answer, so we'll go top 3.
Breaking Bad is definitely in the top 3 for me. I don't know, you two, if it's in your top 3 or not, but
no, it's not my top 3. It's close, but it's not top 3.
It's not top 3.
My top is going to be Game of Thrones. Just because no show has had me on such an emotional roller coaster as that show has so far, and the new season starts in April. I mean, it's one of those shows that everyone said was good, and then I sat down that weekend, and I didn't leave my room and just watched it all the way through.
Took you long enough.
You got one more. I still haven't watched any of it yet, by the way.
Gosh, this is a hard question.
I already know my 3 because I watch TV all the time. Scrubs and Chappelle Show are definitely always my top 2. Scrubs I think is
up there
very slightly. It just it speaks to my heart because I've always been involved in healthcare. B, it's just very relatable
really
characters.
well written, too.
It's extremely well written. The actors are perfect. That's one of the best shows, most underrated shows of all time. Scrubs is my favorite. Chappelle Show a very close second, and Batman animated series is always in my top 3 too. It'll always hold a very special place in my heart, and it's just extremely well done. Still the best comic book themed show that's ever been. Young Justice is extremely good, but Batman animated series still holds the crown.
They were talking about this on Reddit today. Someone linked a picture of the Dr. Freeze episode. You know the one, or Mr. Freeze, where he, yeah, you know.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Saw that.
best show. Oh man,
It's one of the most emotional episodes.
the best animated show of all time. I mean, that's of course a very arguable thing, but if you've never watched the whole entire series,
It's definitely the best
it's
superhero comics related.
it still holds up too. That's the thing. A show that came out when I was 6 and 5, that I watched literally for 10 years straight growing up, like the fact that you can go back now
And it's
15
still
years
solid
later
and enjoyable.
and it still is good is just remarkable.
All right. My 3 are Twin Peaks.
I haven't even heard about Twin Peaks, really.
I've heard of it but never watched it. What is
Yeah.
it about, Drew?
It's about... Okay, so the basis of Twin Peaks, without spoiling it, it's a really old show from the 80s. Basically, the basis is that this girl named Laura Palmer gets killed. And
I'm sure people call her Laura Palmer. Too.
yeah, well, they call her a lot of things like bitch or slut. You know, like,
What a coincidence. That's what I call you behind your back.
yeah, you do. Anyway, basically, she gets killed, and the story of the show is involving learning about... It gets really weird towards the end. It gets insanely weird, but it's got supernatural elements.
I was going to say, did that used to come on WB a long time ago at night?
It was
like,
an ABC show, but they might have reran it.
Did it come out a little after like Buffy time era? Because I think it used to come on when I would go to bed.
It might have been reran.
And it had a little like kind of Buffy style, like supernatural stuff sometimes. I think I've seen an episode or
Basically, the main character of this show is insanely likable, and it's just like all the characters are enjoyable. It's probably my favorite TV series of all time. American Dad.
Oh yeah,
is just
definitely up
I
there.
was going to say, my number 3 is probably a tie between American Dad and Futurama.
Animated comedy, it's definitely American Dad and South Park for me.
It's just
Also,
American Dad is probably just...
I mean, like, how, Drew, every time us 3 get together,
We talk about American Dad.
American Dad quotes come up, at least,
We're
like...
never together for more than an hour and don't do at least a quote or discussion of American Dad.
No, this episode's better. Old Stand on the Mountain's still the best.
Seriously, that's my go-to show. Like, if I'm bored and I just need, like, something running in the background, like I kick open Netflix, I've probably seen every episode, like, 9 times.
I've just
never
never
get tired
seen
of
a
it.
show with its jokes so well crafted.
It's the writing. And I was thinking about that, like, I was watching one episode, and, like, it was, like, a shitty... Like, the joke wasn't even, like, great,
yeah.
but it's the delivery of some of the jokes that make you laugh anyway.
Crab apples.
And my third is probably Lost. And I know...
Oh man, I love Lost too.
I need to watch
I
It just
know.
gets ruined though. Like-
Listen,
Okay, sorry.
understand where I'm coming from. I watched Lost religiously. I was one of the people on the forums debating who the fuck Jacob was
what
and
the smoke monster is.
just all this other shit for just constant times in my life. And yes, it was a disappointment, but you gotta understand something. It was the ride that got you there. And it was...
When I didn't watch Lost when it first came out. I watched it when it first came on Netflix, and Lost is... There's a lot of shows that do this, but Lost is by far, and apparently it's not just me, because other people I've talked to have said the same thing, and you guys can tell me if you've had the same experience with the show. Lost is the show that perfectly personifies I just watched another episode, and I really should go to bed right now, but there's no way in hell I'm not watching the next one. I have to watch it. I have to watch the next episode right now. And then you look at the clock and it's 6 a.m.
That was my problem
and you
with
just
Game
watch.
of Thrones. Like,
Lost is that show in a nutshell. Like the cliffhangers are just so incredibly amazing.
I remember watching the first season for the first time, and I watched it. I watched the first episode. I watched the pilot on live TV, and I was like, this is insane. What am I watching? But then it kept going, and I kept watching, and I kept watching, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is amazing.
It's great in the beginning. It's beyond amazing in the beginning. It's great in the middle, and it stays pretty solid. But the last couple seasons aren't as good because you know what's coming. It's not. It's just so different.
I think
I appreciate the last couple seasons, and I'm not super disappointed in them. It's the fact that the beginning and the middle is so good is what kind of ruins it, because then when you compare it to the end, it's not.
I will be rivaled to say you could not find a better seasoned television than the first and second seasons of Lost.
Oh, definitely.
I think
Because
the Writers Guild strike happened in the middle of this.
The Writers Guild strike, when I watched Lost, it was either the third or fourth season happened, And Lost was away for a really long time.
I think that's when I think that was what a lot of people said was the reason the quality kind of declined for it, was because the Writers Guild strike really screwed up with the writing stuff.
It's just like they weren't afraid to do things, and it was really good. And then they got afraid to do things, and it was really.
We're not going to talk about comics today. We're actually going to do a video game section today.
We haven't done this in a while. I'm so happy.
Austin and I have both played some comic book themed video games, and then we'll all kind of talk about other games we've been playing recently too. First of all, we've talked about Lego Marvel before. I had mentioned that I had played it for a day and that I thought it was a great game for kids. Visually it's pretty nice. The mechanics are okay, and the characters diversity is very good. There's a lot of different characters,
especially with the DLC.
But if you're an older person, you're gonna get tired of the gameplay formula pretty quick. But if I was a kid, if I was 8, 9, or 10,
I love this shit.
This game would be the best thing ever. So I didn't end up finishing it, but I appreciated it. And then Austin bought it on Steam and played it.
Yeah, I got it on Steam sale for like $15.
What did you think about it?
I binged on it for like 2 days. I got my money's worth out of it. I will say that much. For $15-$20, I easily got my money's worth out of it. It kind of reminds me of a crappier version of Donkey Kong 64, kind of. Where, like, you have so much...
Donkey Kong 64 is way more in-depth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
This is like a really watered-down version. It's just so much to collect.
Compare a game of Donkey Kong 64's caliber to that.
I don't even want to say that Donkey Kong 64 might be the best game of all time.
It's on my top 10 list.
Aaron sat down and replayed through the whole game recently, and he still can't find half the golden bananas.
I need to play that. It's so in-depth and, like...
It's so hilarious.
We're just going to talk about Donkey Kong 64. Okay, so Donkey Kong 64 is great because...
It has bananas.
It has so much stuff that... Okay, so when you're a kid, you don't have the internet. Well, we didn't.
Right.
So you're playing this shit and you're like, well,
you're flying blind.
You're just like trying
and we're too poor to afford a GameStop.
Exactly.
There's this big fucking sign in the middle of the doorway telling you need 20 gold bananas and you only have 19 and you can't find that last golden banana. And you literally spent like 20 hours searching for this golden banana.
I'm going to put on my Cranky Kong beard and be like, back in my day, we didn't have the internet to tell me where to find that 20.
By the way, I'm going to go on a rant about Donkey Kong Country one day, but we'll just...
Rant about Donkey Kong Country, one of the best games ever created?
I didn't say it was a bad rant.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy Donkey Kong
I'm just
Country.
checking.
I didn't enjoy Donkey Kong Country. Oh, turn out the face!
The SNES Donkey Kong?
It was okay. I just didn't...
Are you high?
I just didn't... No.
Do you kiss boys?
Are you...
Maybe.
We don't
the
care.
The price is right.
If you kiss boys at Dial H for heroes, by the way.
So let's move off of DK64 real quick.
Hurt.
So Austin enjoyed Lego Marvel.
Overall, I feel like it was just... It was a lot of content, but the game itself got kind of grindy because you're kind of doing the same things over and over.
Yeah,
and
that's
over.
what I was saying. The formula gets tired quick.
Yeah, it's like you go to a puzzle and you're like, okay, this puzzle probably needs this person to do it, and then you swap to that person, you do the puzzle. And they're not really like puzzles that require you to think. It's just kind of walk up to something and press a button.
Exactly.
It was fun collecting like all the different characters and unlocking all the characters, and some of the mini games were fun. But it dragged on, and after like 2 or 3 days of playing it nonstop, I was like, it's fun. I don't see myself playing this anymore. I'm not having fun with it anymore. And as you said, if I was like 8 or 10, I would be all over this game. Like, this would probably be my favorite game, but...
Colts are down by 11, but they just got a safety.
Ooh, dang.
So now they're only down by 9, and they have 2 minutes.
Superman jump. He's like in the air for a second.
Let's see. I played Arkham Origins. I just started it yesterday, and am a very big fan of the other Arkham games.
They're very good.
Austin still has yet to play either one of them, which is extremely disappointing.
What else is new with me to you guys, apparently?
Seriously, though, you can't play a game of that caliber. You can't play Bioshock and Arkham Asylum or
I have
Arkham
to be
City.
in the mood to play those games.
No, you play it for
really
5
don't.
minutes and you'll be in the mood to play.
Probably. It's just
Especially Arkham Asylum. Like, and it starts out.
Seriously.
So
I meant to
badass.
grab them on Steam sale and I forgot to.
You can get it Arkham Asylum for like $10.
It's $10.
I can't think of a better value game for. I mean, you won't spend a whole lot of hours. Like 20 hours, you could do everything completely. But the experience is way worth $10.
I think
And you're going to want to get the Riddler trophies in City.
When summer sales roll around and they'll have the full Game of the Year editions of all three, I'll probably grab them all on sale.
I will say Arkham Origins, so far, I'm not that far into it. If I had to predict, I'd say I'm about 25% a third of the way through it. It's a little weaker than the first two, slightly. I still like the first one the best, just because of the experience of going through the asylum.
It was...
And the beginning, the whole scene, the whole setup for the game is just amazing.
The thing about the first one was, though, it got you really excited because you were like, this is a bad
It was the
game?
first time you experienced it, and by now, as amazing as it is, you're just so used to it.
Yeah.
And but it's funny because while I'm playing it, I just kind of took a step back and looks like, I just really appreciate this game, that it exists, and that you can be Batman, and that it's this perfect. Like, it's this responsive. The combat is, like, literally realistic. It's just, like, if every superhero could have a game that worked just as perfectly like that...
We wouldn't have Superman 64.
This world would be...
That game was so
How dare you bring
terrible.
up that abomination.
You guys don't understand. I rented that game, and that was the worst $5.
You know, the Batman game was great. The Batman game for NES.
You'll never get that $5 back.
The Batman game for NES was amazing.
Yeah, I know. It was great. It was a 2D platformer.
I mean,
that was
really
one of the
difficult.
best NES games, actually. The Spider-Man games on PS2.
I like the
really
one on,
good.
There was one for Game Boy.
It had a lot of obscure villains in it too. Like
Honestly, the most recent couple Spider-Man games on current gen consoles haven't been bad. either.
Maximum Carnage is amazing.
Shattered Dimensions. Did you play?
Have you ever played
No, I haven't played it. Oh, Maximum Carnage on
Genesis?
Yes, that was a good game. You're right. Anyways. Arkham Origins, very good. The premise is that this takes place before Asylum. It takes place right when Batman has only been Batman for a couple months. The GCPD has never come face-to-face with them yet. They're still trying to kill you every step of the way, like the cops and the villains. And the premise is that it's Christmas Eve, and you're trying to stop the Black Mask, who is the current, in this time period that the game's taking place, like, he's the current big crime boss dude. Like, not the Penguin and not anybody else. It's Black Mask. And Black Mask puts out a hit on you, and it's like $50 million. And so all these assassins come out of the woodwork trying to kill you. And you have 8 major ones. Killer Croc, Deathstroke, Deadshot, Shiva, Copperhead, who am I forgetting?
Firefly.
Bane, Firefly, and Anarchy. Now, you also have Enigma, who's setting little riddle stuff for you. You have the Penguin, who plays a major role in the story. You have other minor villains that you see time to time, like Zaz and Calendar Man and people like that. I'm a big...
Calendar Man's appearance in City.
He's been in every one so far.
You just walk in that basement and you're just like, oh my God.
character as obscure as Calendar Man has been in all 3 of the Arkham
and
games.
he's amazing.
I'm a huge fan of Zaz too, so I love seeing Zaz in the second, or this one too. But
Calendar Man is extremely underrated. By the way.
Anyways, the assassins are out hunting you while you're trying to do all this other stuff, and then you'll come into conflict with them during certain parts of the story. The story's very well done. There's actually a really cool plot twist already that involved the Joker being involved that you don't know the Joker. You've never met the Joker before in this game.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's just, the story's well done so far. I'm very much enjoying it. The combat is pretty good. Oh, Electrocutioner, that's one of the other main guys.
Electrocutioner.
Anarchy's not one of the assassins. He's just a big part of the story. And, Electrocutioner is the only one I wasn't familiar with. Even Copperhead I've seen before. I hadn't seen anything on Electrocutioner. It's funny because in the first boss fight, the first time you face off against him, he's sitting there talking shit. You're like in this pit area and you have to fight him. Your shit's talking shit and it's like daring you to go up to him, and then you go up and hit punch and you just kick the shit out of him and knock him out. Just clean, just like boom. It's really fun. And everything's just like, that was how easy it was, but then he gets up and gets away. Anyways... Deathstroke's fight, amazing, awesome sauce. It's kind of how I can't think of a better way to do it. Copperhead's fight that I just did was also really, really cool. A character like that who's kind of semi-cool, the fact that they made this badass of a fight out of it was actually really awesome.
I would like to see dead shots.
Killer Croc's the first one you fight, and he's pretty easy to take down. Which sucks because he's one of my favorite guys.
Killer Croc's
But he plays such an amazing fight in City and
Asylum.
His parts in Asylum too, that it makes up
that
for
fight
it.
in Asylum
That's
where
one of the best
you're
ones.
in the sewer is just
I
insane.
tell you who's still my favorite though so far. I haven't beat all of them in Origins yet. Scarecrows is my favorite. Scarecrows.
You don't understand.
You gotta play.
You don't
I
understand.
don't understand.
You gotta play these games also.
Just don't beat me again.
So Origins, highly recommended. I think it's the lowest out of the three, but that's not saying anything. That's saying like what's the worst out of fucking cake, cookies, and pie. Like what's the worst
Clearly pie.
one? I agree, but pie's so overrated.
It can be
Pie
good.
is amazing.
Pie's so overrated.
Pie can go ahead of cookies if pie
Exactly. That's
is made okay, but it never is.
So highly recommended. Drew, what have you been playing?
I played a game recently. It's an indie game from someone called the Fulbright Company. It's called Gone Home. Now, this game is interesting. What?
Gone Home got really overhyped, so I'm interested to hear how you thought,
Okay.
what you thought about it.
Gone Home is one of those games that I saw a lot of people talking about, and it's definitely not overhyped.
But like people were calling it like Game of the Year.
Yeah, it could possibly be. You gotta understand that games can be nothing but story and there can be no gameplay and still be a functional game. The thing about Gone Home that is amazing is that you think it's gonna go one direction, but it goes in a completely direction that makes you feel totally good about yourself. And if you were born in the 80s and you were a child of the 90s, this is kind of your game. Because this, like there's mentions of Street Fighter, people borrowing Street Fighter for the SNES and learning the moves, and it's just there's so much X-File tape recordings on the VCR. It's just the shit, man, and like it reminds me so much of when I was a kid, and it's just.
I saw one of the trailers for this game.
I watched a Let's Play of it.
Okay, it looked intriguing, but I haven't seen any gameplay of it. But I saw the trailer a couple months ago. Actually, me and Ashley saw it. We both were like, "Oh, that looks kind of cool. I might check that out."
It keeps you on a hook, and if you do play it with Ashley, let her watch because it's one of those games that
I always let the women watch what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Or participate, depending
Just it just keeps you on a hook for a long amount of time, and you get like it's just you're exploring shit. Oh my god, so
It's an adventure game.
It looks really cool.
it's kind of an adventure game. It's more of an exploration game.
Yes.
Adventure explanation. Oh my god, are you shitting me right now? Wow, how
down.
unfortunate.
Both his knees were.
How unfortunate of an interception is that? Right there, man. Now that's going to go against Luck's stats, but that was not Luck's fault. Sorry for all the podcast listeners, but we're just really bummed out. How do you miss that? And how does it go directly
That
into
wasn't
his
an interception.
hands?
That was a fumble.
That was my arms happened to be out and the ball plopped right into the middle of it.
Anyways, Gone Home, neat game. Check it out if you like, exploration adventure. You're just in this big house and you start thinking the worst is going to happen because you played so many games. Also, the Stanley Parable.
Stanley Parable's great.
You should play the Stanley Parable.
Oh my gosh. That game, have you heard about it, Hunter?
I've heard the name. I haven't seen anything on it.
So basically you're like this straightforward office worker, and like the narrator kind of tells you what to do. So he's like, and Stanley walked out the door and turned to the right. Well, you being the douchebag you are, can walk out the door and turn to the left. Or you can turn around and jump out the window. Or you can do anything you want. And then the narrator has to correct the story based on what you do. So, like, if you keep defying him, like, it screws up everything. And he, like, pulls you aside into this little area and explains to you how it's his job to give you the instructions. But there's so many endings. Like, I was watching Jordan play it, and I laughed. Like, it's a great game.
There are so many interesting games that have been made lately. it's a good time to be a game fan because there's so many offerings. It's just it's.
Now, my personal favorite that I played another 100 hours of in the last few weeks has been XCOM. For those of you who played the original XCOM back in the day, and those of you who don't know, XCOM is a tactics game. I love tactics games. I feel like there are not enough of them out there. It's kind of I don't want to say a dying genre, but it's not one that sees a lot of light of day recently, where it's like Heroclix. You have a gridded map, you're moving stuff, then you're taking actions.
You only get so many actions per turn.
Yeah.
And you have different units that have different abilities and powers and
like
capabilities. It's actually a decent amount like Heroclix to an extent, to the basics.
But like in XCOM, the story is kind of like you're a secret organization on Earth that's fighting against an alien invasion. Like aliens are starting to show up around the world, and they're starting to get a little malicious. So all the governments pull together their money and build the XCOM project, which is this military complex, and you answer alien threats either by shooting down UFOs and then searching them to salvage stuff out of them, or going to stop if they're attacking a city or something like that, trying to scare the people. Well, the way the game works is it's hardcore style. If someone dies, they're dead. So you build these little squads of 4 to 6 people. And you really kind of get attached to these characters, because you run multiple missions with them, they live through the missions, and you give them their own, you can just customize them however you want, you give them each piece of their gear and all that stuff, and it kind of sucks when you go 10 to 12 missions with somebody, and then they die in a freak accident, an alien you didn't see runs around the corner and shoots a gas tank next to them or something, and you just lost this guy with 20 missions of experience and all this stuff, and you kind of have to work around those setbacks, and you're trying to gather technology. You don't want to just outright blow up everything you find, because then you destroy stuff you could bring back to research. It's a really good game. If you're big into tactics games, I'd recommend it in a heartbeat. Personally, I'd recommend it to anyone.
If you're big into tactics games, you're already playing this game anyway.
Yeah.
It's that good. I mean, it's the tactics game.
Honestly, it was my game of the year when it first came out. The expansion came out, I think, last year. I just finally picked it up on Steam sale and was playing through it. The different aliens are really cool. It's got this comic book style where everyone's really beefy looking with proportions and everything. Firaxis is easily my favorite game company. They do the Civilization franchise. They picked up XCOM, and then they've done a few other franchises I've really loved. They have nothing but love for the games they make, and the quality of product they produce is just unparalleled.
I haven't played the expansion, but I played the original one, and I liked it quite a bit. I didn't have a whole lot of time to play. I just played the main story, but I liked it a lot. And I usually don't like games like that, usually because they take too long to play.
Yeah, I can understand.
And I have very limited, saying you spent 100 hours on it recently, yeah, right. It'll take me a month to beat a 20-hour game of Batman. It'll take me forever.
See, what's fun is me and Aaron have sat down, we were both playing it at the same time. So it was kind of fun to walk in his room and be like, so what did you do? And he'll show me the mission he just did and his squad and what he's running compared to what I'm running.
But I did enjoy it quite a bit, and I enjoy the challenge. It's challenging, but it's not too challenging. Where the
original was gimmicky challenging.
The original cheated, and it's not one of those where I swear this game is cheating. No, it literally would cheat and make you lose on purpose.
The original game is a classic.
It's one of
it's
PC game. It's one of the best PC games ever.
But that game, the computer is a cheating bastard, applies to that game 100%. I've had so many times you'd start a mission on the original game, and a psychic alien would make one of your guys panic who has a rocket launcher, and he'd blow up your whole squad turn 2, and you'd be like, wow. This is bullshit, and you just lost your 10 people you've spent the whole game grooming into super soldiers, and you lose completely and have to start all over pretty much. But I would definitely recommend, especially if it hits Steam sales and stuff, pick it up. If you like Heroclix, I think it's definitely worth trying for you. It's kind of that nice little thought process of moving stuff around, taking your actions, all that stuff.
So that's going to be it for us today. Don't forget Dial Design. We will. Austin, did you give your? You didn't give your.
No,
assignment?
I did not.
Oh, sorry. We need to do Dial Design real quick. What is your assignment for week 2?
We haven't done a Mystics one yet, have we?
Like a mystical keyword?
Yeah.
We did. Let's see. We did a deity one. We did it. Did we do a cosmic one, I think?
I don't know.
So I guess we haven't done a mystical one?
There you go, mystical.
Alright.
I want a mystical character. Give me your spell slingers.
Would you like to limit it to DC and Marvel only, though?
I would like to limit it to DC and Marvel only.
Okay.
Sorry, third-party people, but it's a lot harder for me to judge dials that I haven't personally...
Yeah.
I don't know the characters that
I agree. And the thing is, not only does it have to be somebody that Austin's familiar with, it needs to be somebody that we all three are relatively familiar with.
Yeah,
You know what I
or
mean?
at least somebody I can look up and get a good feel for. Like, some characters we've had pop up, it's really hard for me to judge because, like, oh, I see these cool powers and usages of powers, but I can't find anything to gauge whether that's accurate for the character or not because they're kind of obscure. So, I mean, like, just a straightforward Marvel DC spellcaster. Your John Constantine's, your Papa Voodoo or whatever.
He
Papa
screwed that
Midnight.
all up.
Papa Midnight.
Papa Voodoo.
Your Papa Voodoo, your brother Midnight. All
Doctor
right.
Strange's. I mean, come on.
So week 2 dial design
Your
assignment.
Mr. Strange's and your Doctor Fantastic.
Design us a character with a mystical keyword, DC or Marvel Universe.
Do it.
You can find that on hgrealms.com. If you would like to ask us a question or suggest a Just the Tip for 1 week or anything else, just chat with us. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or write us a email at dialhforheroclix@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe and follow us on YouTube, where we put out... First of all, we put out the episodes now. I put them out the same day as I put out these episodes.
All you need to know is we put out.
They're up on YouTube. We put out weekly.
We're good. We're good to you.
We're
Probably
reliable.
more than most married men get put out to. And also, I try to put up some type of other video each week, whether it's a rules explanation or a starter set review or a set review or something like that. So be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you guys next week.